Yo. Let's fucking go, baby. Let's fucking go. Here's a me, mamma mia. Let's go.
This is gonna be a good fight.
I got the need for speed.
Salvage. Loyal to the soil?
Many?
If there's too many, I'll bail.
No. Alright.
Yeah, I'm ready.
No, I mean,
La 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 la.
Introducing your champion.
What the fuck are you doing here?
We're doing a show in a bit here.
What the hell? It's just the most random thing in the world.
Good, I'm the jump
What the hell?
master.
Welcome to my street.
What?
We're playing Mario Kart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who?
Like a bunch of people,
Oh,
90% women.
okay.
You missed the Pokemon boxing.
Did you get a Charizard? Get anything good?
I got a Venomoth.
I am the jump master. Try to keep up.
It was 9.1, yeah. Well, it's not about making money when you open boxes. It's about the memories, Asmund.
Let's say it was about me. How much would you be ready?
Well, if they're PSA 10s, theoretically, like $9,000. I lost like 7,000.
Oh,
I love this part.
Don't you play gacha games?
yeah. What's the thing?
Oh.
Oye, qué buen trabajo.
Yeah, it's basically unboxing. I'm ready.
First blood,
Yeah,
good
okay.
thing it's not
Wait,
us.
Asmund, you come here? Big eggs.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you like my house?
It's so risky. I'm gonna be honest. I walked in your house and cat shit.
My mates just came here.
Well, I mean, they're not done. Place smells like cat shit.
Okay, if Asmund's saying that, this place would suck.
You know, this is all this thing.
Shake a leg.
What, the
We're working on a
boxes?
minute. The ring's right there.
Yeah, let's get that.
Oh,
Wait, when was the last time you were at my house? You want one of my cups? Yeah.
45 seconds.
It's
this
2 girls,
close.
1 cup.
James did. We call that an oxymoron.
Thanks, Al.
For long, pal.
You don't have to stare at that long. Cat, this is Asmongold, by the way. Ray,
oh, what's up?
have you ever talked to Asmongold?
I don't know.
Bad one.
I guess I'll see him in Texas.
no, no.
I think that.
Need that.
Good old Texas.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
what? You don't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Mr. Gold.
Ray!
Is that not his last name? Asmund Gold? No,
Rings around the corner. 10 left.
It crossed him.
Wait, it's so crazy because, like, I feel like we have something to bond over. I had a centipede in my ear the other night, and he had a cockroach on him.
I never had a
Who's getting shot from
Yeah,
where?
you. So, like, yeah, I can't sleep. It's ruined my life. It crawled in my ear while I was sleeping. Bro.
Actually, so
Ew. No, I
scary.
got it out after like 10 minutes of trying to shake it out of my ear.
God.
Bro, this is like your.
It was insanely traumatic. I'm really tired. I don't sleep anymore.
It's like your superhero origin story. You're gonna have the powers of a centipede.
They're on me.
No, I just put this in B.
No, you click friend. Wait, doesn't you Rob need to pick the teams in Liam?
Yeah, who's first pick? Me.
No, wait, heads or tails? Asmund, do heads or tails? Oh, it's heads.
Wait, did
I got tails.
Okay, wait, Asmund, hold with either 1 or 2 behind your back, and then, okay, E-Rob, what do you think it is? What do you think it is, Liam?
I think
Quit your whinging.
No, you can't do that, Liam.
I think it's a 1.
Okay, E-Rob picked 2, Liam picked 1. It was 2!
This is just great.
Ashley does like E-Rob. Sorry, E-Rob, it's your first.
Give me sleeps.
Damn! No, what? Thanks, man. I like it too. Eat food every morning. Oh, you a fan of the YouTube? Huge fan. Isn't that your best highlight? How do you get like 9th place in your highlights? Oh, you really watched it. Oh, that's pretty good. I skipped to the end. I give you shit attention.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, Liam, you're up. I'll take Connor.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take Valkyrie.
There are a lot of issues that divide gamers, like the one you're thinking about, or the other issue that you're now thinking about. But while those may be big disagreements, we can all agree on one thing. We like being able to play the games we pay for. And that's why YouTuber Robert your help to stop publishers from destroying games. Scott decided to do something when Ubisoft announced they would be shutting down the servers for online-only racer The Crew, making it unplayable. A class action lawsuit against Ubisoft in the US, Scott is now looking to challenge the company on a larger scale. According to Scott, this isn't really about The Crew or even Ubisoft, which is good because I didn't know people liked The Crew. The Crew had over 12 million players, and Ubisoft is headquartered in France, a country whose government apparently takes consumer complaints from anyone, even some jerk like me, if I wanted to. Ubisoft being the target is just a bonus. But it's not all up to France either. Scott hopes that just one country enacting a law on this issue could help save games worldwide. So to facilitate a global effort, Scott set up a website called StopKillingGames.com, featuring guides for how to take action depending on where you live. If you have any interest in game preservation, be sure to check it out. Or just do it because you hate Ubisoft. That's okay too. In other legal news, Roblox's motion to dismiss a class action lawsuit was denied by a federal judge in California. The lawsuit was filed in August and alleges the company has allowed an illegal gambling ring to prey on minors who use the online game platform. Anyone who buys Roblox's Robux virtual currency can use the third-party gambling sites also named in the class action, but the average age of Roblox's player base is what, like 2?
This is gonna be a good
In their motion, Roblox tried to argue that gambling with Robux doesn't count as gambling, because you already lost the money when you purchased the Robux, comparing the virtual currency to amusement park tickets. The judge agreed they are like amusement park tickets, which he argued do have economic value even if they cannot be exchanged for cash. Though, FYI, Robux actually can be exchanged for cash, something the judge points out in a fun twist on Roblox's own analogy. This isn't the only time Roblox has made a bad point about a scandal. Previously, YouTube channel People Make Games alleged that Roblox, taking a 75.5% cut of Robux spent in user-made experiences, exploits underage developers. When asked about this at GDC this year, Roblox studio head Stefano Corazza said, "You could say Roblox is exploiting child labor, or you could say Roblox is creating job opportunities, saying, quote, I can be like 15 years old in Indonesia living in a slum, but with just a laptop, I can create something, make money, and then sustain my life." Which is a fair point for places that don't have child labor. There's been a bunch of news about upcoming games recently, so here's a roundup. The Silent Hill 2 remake has received an ESRB rating, suggesting a release date will be announced soon. And speaking of suggestive things, characters pole dancing in strip club settings can apparently be found in the remake. There was a popular myth that the original game contained a pole dance Easter egg. Bloober Team may have been so faithful adapting the game, they added something that never existed. In Xbox news, Gears of War 6 will be revealed this year, according to Jeff Grubb, and corroborated by The Verge's Tom Warren. Okay, anyway, the long-awaited Hollow Knight Silk Song got an Xbox store page on April 1st, but it might not be a joke. The game also received a rating in South Korea, so there's hope. Dead Cells developers announced their new project, Windblown, a 3-player co-op roguelike. The creators of the Ori series will be releasing their Soulsborne-inspired Diablo-like action RPG, No Rest for the Wicked, on Steam Early Access on April 18th. Eternal Strands is the debut title from Yellow Brick Games, a studio led by longtime Dragon Age creative director Mike Laidlaw. Scheduled to release next year, the game is apparently a blend of Shadow of the Colossus, Monster Hunter, and Tears of the Kingdom. And that's one snooty I didn't know I wanted. And just today, Devolver Digital revealed The Crush House, a first-person shooter, where you play the cameraman for a 90s reality TV show. Except there's a dark secret. They didn't say what the secret is. Typical secret stuff. But I wouldn't tell you even if I knew. We shook pinkies. That means something. What I can tell you about is our sponsor, PlayTracker. It lets you create your own personal gaming profile that works cross-platform. PlayTracker also offers free stats and graphs to help you win real arguments with your real friends on the real internet. With PlayTracker Insight, you can find out how many people own a game, how many are actively playing, and more. For professionals, there's a premium service with tools that let you gather data to answer important questions, like how many Elden Ring fans also play Stardew Valley. You can't be maidenless if you married Abigail. Head to playtracker.net/insight to learn more. Hey, did you know that QuickBits intros are a little hard to write? A little fun fact for you. A few interesting details about Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 emerged this morning. One, the graphics reportedly look incredible. Studio Ninja Theory is apparently looking to prove that Unreal Engine 5 can cause players to dissociate from reality, just like hit action game hero and frequent crier Senua. 2, those graphics come at the expense of frame rate, as Ninja Theory confirmed the game would be capped at a cinematic 30 FPS on Xbox, which is actually fine with me as someone who loved the first game. That's kind of the vibe. And 3, Ninja Theory's co-founder and creative director Tamim Antoniades, very cool name, has left the studio after 20 years for unknown reasons. Best guess? The graphics really are that good. Lost grip. Palworld has released its first major update in a while, including new fixes, loot, quality of life measures, and a raid boss called Bellenoir that looks like Gardevoir from Pokemon, but goth. You just know the fan art is going to be wild on this one. You can also now far more intensely micromanage your sweatshops. When a pal peels off to take a lunch break, you can slap the sandwich out of his mouth and get him back on task by drop-kicking him across the room towards the nearest workbench. What is this game? The patch notes also hinted at an even bigger update coming this summer with new buildings, weapons, and tower bosses, as well as a whole new island, just in case you felt the need to fully reenact the Caribbean plantation system with cartoon monsters. This has been fun fact. Dragon's Dogma 2 players are going crazy for its Dragon's Plague feature. No, really, this in-game disease is driving many players to desperation and paranoia. You see, pawns are a kind of companion NPC in this game who can contract the Dragon's Plague, a disease that is incurable and can result in them infecting others or, say, going on a murderous rampage. The only way to get rid of it is if the pawn dies. If the player just dismisses them, they could wind up stumbling over to infect another player's party. Therefore, some players online are discussing how to signal to others that a pawn is plague-ridden, such as filling their inventory with wilted flowers or rotten fruit, so you can smell the problem coming. At least one person has made a mod that just explicitly shows you when a pawn is infected, which, honestly, takes all the fun out of it. After hacking the PlayStation Portal streaming handheld to run the PPSSPPPSP emulator, it's pronounced and I won't be taking questions, 2 Google engineers responsibly reported the relevant software exploit to Sony, who promptly patched it. The engineers, Andy Nguyen and Kala Svensson, are now receiving backlash on Twitter for publicizing their accomplishment without actually releasing their work so others could try it for themselves. I mean, yes, reporting this carrot to Sony was the responsible thing, but they could have done that without dangling it in front of all the bunnies first. The bunnies here are gamers, interested in using a $200 handheld for literally anything other than streaming games from the PS5. And a 420-themed Call of Duty map has sparked an online rivalry. Data miner Bob Network UK uncovered an upcoming parkour map called Get High, releasing footage of the map on YouTube. However, Bob didn't make it to the end, something Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming blamed on Bob's skills. Bob didn't take very kindly to this, so he did what everyone does when they're angry on the internet. He went on Twitter. Bob tweeted footage of the level's end and demanded a rewrite of Henderson's. Since Tom Henderson is a full-time Chaos Goblin, he updated his article to acknowledge Bob's footage while claiming there are doubts that Bob's the one playing. Ironically, this whole thing could have been avoided with a little bit of weed. But you can't avoid gaming news, so long as you come back on Tuesday, that is. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Just come back on Tuesday, please. I've had enough.
This is the final go for Flight 3 of Starship. Goodbye 2. Stage 1. Stage 2.
Are you guys fighting?
Use your eyes. Enemy landed close by. Oi, firing. Use your eyes. Enemy landed close. Right in front of me. Getting attacked by another squad.
Target over there.
I'm down. Delivering thermite. Half of the squads have been removed. 1 minute until the ring closes. Our squad mate was weak. Now I'm under fire. Enemy shield cracked. Shields are depleted. Recharging.
35. Ring 8 close.
Vehicles close for
I'm down.
Says, bruh.
Escape.
I asked if you were fighting
Zero
multiple
DMG.
times. I've been back there looting. You guys outran me. What do you want me to do? I don't give a fuck, bro. 0 damage. I haven't been into a fight yet. Oh shit. You guys jumped up there. I said, "Are you guys fighting?" and nobody responded. You want me to try to get you up, or you? Oh fuck.
Says, your play.
Don't worry, I got a squad mate's banner.
Monkey Man is a movie that definitely piqued my curiosity from its very first trailer for a couple of reasons. One, the obvious, I'm a sucker for revenge movies, and this looked like a really good one with a lot of potential. Two, I'm a big fan of Dev Patel's work, and this is his directorial debut. And three, the name, Monkey Man. It's what my mom used to call me when I was misbehaving as a young boy. She'd either call me Monkey Man or Silly McGillicuddy. So the name had a smile on my face. And then also, this film has a pretty interesting story behind its production to a certain extent. So apparently this was just going to go straight to streaming services, and according to a couple headlines, was dead in the water, which I think is very exaggeratory and doom and gloom for no reason other than a couple of fucking curiosity clicks. But until Jordan Peele came aboard, this wasn't even going to see a theatrical release. But Jordan Peele apparently liked the movie so much that he lobbied for it hard and actually got it a big deal and then got it as a theatrical release. And I just think that's pretty cool. I think that's a big old W. So I just got back from seeing the film and I've got a lot of thoughts on it. First of all, I know most people are going to this film expecting it to be a John Wick type movie. And to a certain extent it kind of is. Like, it definitely has some John Wick DNA in there, and it's self-aware of that. There's even a line in the film that gets a little meta, pointing out a John Wick reference. But it's not quite like that. It's definitely a bit different and tries to stand on its own 2 feet with its own unique identity. And for the most part, it hits more than it misses. The action is extraordinary, it's gory, it's over the top, it's exciting. Dev Patel does a great fucking job as the lead role in here. It's a fun story too that I thought was pretty creative. And overall, I really do think it's a great movie, but it's held back by its biggest miss. A huge flub here. A fumble. Monkey Man unfortunately commits the unforgivable sin of shaky cam. And shaky cam doesn't even adequately describe just how shaky the camera is when it comes to its action sequences in this film. It's brutal. It's disorienting. It's what I imagine getting a concussion must feel like when you're first coming to and getting reacclimated to the world around you. It's like all the camera operators were on crack while also having a sugar rush boofing Coca-Cola and chugging down Jolly Ranchers. But the camera's just like always doing this. It's like in an invisible washing machine. Like perpetually caught in a fucking tornado or something. It just takes all of the impact out of the action sequences. It completely interrupts the flow of the action, derails that train, and makes it really hard for you to even process what you're looking at because the camera is just all over the place. The choreography on all of the action is extremely well done. It's just a shame that the camera didn't just get a chance to sit there and show us. Instead, it felt like the camera ops were the ones that were getting beat up, because the camera's fucking jiggling everywhere all the time. It's just an outrageous amount of shaky cam to it that really does take away so much from otherwise amazing action sequences. This is something I don't usually do when watching a movie, but I actually wrote down notes on this, or at least a big note on this, because the camera work.
It's basically the best I could do, my friends. I'm sorry.
Great job.
If you get out, I can try to heal you.
The choreography is stellar. They really had a passion for delivering really great action moments, but they filmed it really poorly. Like, it is framed badly. So I wrote down, Monkey Man has way too many close-ups and cutaways. It makes it hard to see what's going on, coupled with the shaky camera that makes it feel like you're playing a video game with maxed motion blur. And that's exactly what it does feel like. Because not only is it the shaky cam, but this film has so many close-ups, like you're looking at it through a goddamn microscope in anatomy and physiology class. Like, I looked at a couple other reviews to make sure I wasn't just on the stupid juice, make sure I'm not a fucking crazy person that escaped Arkham Asylum here. And some of the other reviews are saying the same thing, that it actually feels claustrophobic because of how many close-ups there are. And they're 100% right. It makes it so you can't even tell the environment they're in and the size of it, like the scale is completely lost because everything is a close-up and everything keeps cutting away so rapidly during these action sequences and then going right into another close-up while shaking. It's really hard to process what exactly is happening most of the time. The first half of the film is definitely the worst when it comes to that part. The second half, I don't know what happened, but they filmed like the last 30 minutes of action in a pretty different way, like almost entirely different. It's like they had a whole different camera crew come in.
I still have 0 damage, just a reminder.
Far better. The last 30 minutes, I think, are spectacular.
Oh my god.
They finally get camera operators that can sit still.
Immediately get into another fight after you fucking died. You got nothing, you got no health, you got no guns, you got nothing.
Really cool fucking Mortal Kombat level fatalities on them. They even have a really good soundtrack to accompany it that I feel was heavily inspired by Doom. You got those fat chugs, some big chugs. You even have like some screaming to the music, which is cool too. They have like some growls in there. And it's really fucking awesome just watching him annihilate all of these dudes in hand-to-hand combat. It's flashy, it's over the top, improvised weapons. He's stabbing them with forks, stabbing them with little tiny knives, fucking poking their eyes out, using a tray to cut someone's thumb off, just like an actual dinner tray. Somehow cuts someone's thumb off because he swings it so hard. All accompanied with this great music. Oh, it was fire. And no shaky cam for those parts, just like tracking cam if they're following them around the room. So much better. The way they did the action at the end is so much better than the way they did it for the first half. I don't know what changed. Maybe someone around there was like, hey guys, let's maybe mix it up for this. And I'm so glad they did because I really appreciated that. And I still appreciated the movie. I still think it's a really good movie overall. But man, I have just gotta point out the camera work for the action sequences being a huge letdown. I really thought we were through this age of shaky cam. That was prevalent for a while. Everyone hated it. So for the last couple of years, we hadn't really seen a ton of shaky cam action movies. And then this one really brings it back in a big way, unfortunately. But even in spite of that, it still is really good.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed, we do. Lots of interesting stories percolating this morning. So we have some new, very bad poll numbers for Joe Biden in a series of swing states. We'll break that down for you. We also want to cover this big abortion ballot initiative that is going to be there for voters in November. What impact could that have on a state that was not so long ago a swing state, but is pretty firmly in the red column now? Very interesting potential fallout there. We also have some RFK Jr. news, a focus group of voters showing which voters are favoring RFK Jr., what are their common characteristics. That's very interesting. We also have a revelation from Tulsi Gabbard that she was asked to be his VP and turned it down. So we'll break all of that down for you. Also have a couple of media stories for you. Stephen A. Smith sounding off on some recent Hillary Clinton comments that our friends over at Counterpoint had covered. So we'll give the ball out here from Stephen A. Smith, who is always interesting to listen to and charismatic. We also have a former ESPN anchor who is telling all about the dynamics of her Biden interview that she did at that network. You definitely want to hear that one as well. Major fallout after those aid workers were targeted and killed by Israel. Joe Biden losing all sorts of folks on this one, including the folks over at Morning Joe, his favorite morning news program, really sounding off. Reportedly, his wife has told him he needs to wrap up the war, so a lot to get to there. Sagar is taking a look at he was humiliated on DEI, and also we have the Teamsters calling for a nationwide Molson Coors boycott. The Teamsters International president is going to be here in studio talking to us about that, and also about their efforts to organize Amazon and a number of other issues. So very much looking forward to having Sean O'Brien back here in the studio.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. It's always good to have actual union leaders here in the studio. So thank you all to people who support our work. That's why we're able to do what we do. BreakingPoints.com if you can help us out, continue to build. With that, let's get to these poll numbers. So absolutely shocking poll numbers for Joe Biden. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Very high quality poll out from the Wall Street Journal. Registered voters in each state that was conducted in mid-March. Margin of error here, keep in mind, plus or minus 4 points. But even within that, we can see in the state of Arizona, we've got Trump +5. In Georgia, we've got Trump +1. Michigan, Trump +3. North Carolina, Trump +6. Nevada, Trump +4. Pennsylvania, Trump +3. And Wisconsin remains tied. So obviously, I think we can say that that's not exactly looking very good for Joe Biden. And the reason why it's particularly noteworthy, it's that he's either in the margin of error tied with Trump, or Trump is outright leading him, all in very, very critical states. This does not even necessarily include the RFK Jr. factor, and that is one where when we begin to think about the chaos, and we begin to think about the falling apart of the Democratic coalition, on the polls alone, Crystal, we can see that there are such major warning signs that we didn't even see for Biden back in the 2020 election, whenever he was going up against Trump. And overall, actually, if you dig within it, what you see is a crumbling of the Democratic coalition at the exact same time that Trump is actually increasing his vote margin, both with minorities and with younger voters. So headlines, both in terms of his overall lead, but also in terms of the coalition of people that Trump is actually bringing to the table whenever he's voting.
Keep this up on the screen for another minute, guys, because they did do a poll that included the options of RFK Jr., undecided, or other, because, you know, it's obviously RFK Jr., but you have other third-party candidates in the race as well, in particular Jill Stein and Cornel West, who are on the left end of the spectrum. And when you put RFK Jr. in, Trump still is outperforming Biden in every state save for Wisconsin. It doesn't change the picture all that much. So the reason I want to keep this up on the screen, I'll go through what the top line is with RFK Jr., undecided, and other as a factor. So in Arizona, it's still +5 Trump. In Georgia, it's +1, it's +3 Trump. In Michigan, it goes from +3 Trump to +2 Trump, so not a big difference there. In North Carolina, it goes to +8 Trump right now without RFK Jr. and those other options, +6 Trump. In Nevada, it stays at +4 Trump. In Pennsylvania, it stays at +3 Trump. And in Wisconsin, it actually does improve the picture a little bit for Biden. It becomes a +3 Biden lead, which does get into the question of, you know, who does RFK Jr. take away from more? Who will be in the ballot in which states? You know, these undecided voters who, when they're forced to, where do they actually land? So there's still a lot of fluidity and a lot of question marks. But this comes at a particularly bad time for Joe Biden, because there was a little bit of a hopeful trend going on where his approval rating looked like it was getting a little better. People were feeling a little bit better about the economy. There were a number of national polls, we covered them here, that showed a trend towards Joe Biden. But you know, if the national polls are improving, but the battleground states are still going Trump, well, that's the ballgame right there.
There's also been some very critical developments in the state of Nebraska. Under noticed, actually, but now very important. Let's go put this up there on the screen. So people will remember that Nebraska does not have currently a winner-take-all electoral vote system. It's kind of complicated, but it effectively meant that Nebraska was, President Biden was able to capture a single electoral vote from the Nebraska 2nd District because of the previous way that they would allocate votes. Well, the Nebraska Republican governor is now calling on the state to move forward, quote, with the winner-take-all system. He says it will just simply bring Nebraska into line with 48 of our fellow states. It will better reflect the founders' intent. The real intent here, because Nebraska and Maine are the only states which have split electoral college by election district, means that the blue district, which previously Biden was able to win and which Democrats had normally been able to rely on, you take away that single electoral vote. Now, a single electoral vote isn't usually something that you should be all up in arms about, but it was one that's very critical for some 270 math in a very, very tight race for Joe Biden. Even those over at MSNBC are now beginning to take notice. Let's take a listen.
There has thrown the support behind the effort that would no longer allocate electoral votes by congressional districts. Right now, it's 5 votes there. Technically, Republicans get 4, and President Biden, Democrats get the 1 from Omaha.
Right.
If that changes, and we don't know that it will, the state legislature's going to look at it, but if that changes, that takes away Biden's best path to win. Because if he wins Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, he loses the other swing states, and no longer picks up the 1 in Nebraska, 269. That leads playbook this morning. The alarm among Democrats that this is possible. What do you think?
I think this is what the modern Republican Party has become. They're now changing the rules in the middle, trying to benefit themselves. This is the hell that Donald Trump has wrought. In the middle of this, changing the rules 200 days before the election is ridiculous. I think you're right. I think there are real simulation problems. When you look at the map, that 1 electoral vote really matters in the combination of other things. Then you need another state. And so the easiest pathway to victory has always been the Midwestern 3 states combined with Nebraska. Something tells me they're not going to get away with it this easy, and there will be a national outcry for trying to change the rules here.
Okay, all right. They're trying to change the rules in the middle of the game.
There's going to be a national outcry over the Nebraska electoral delegation system. Okay, Jim Messina.
It's already weird that they do this. No, it's weird. Can we all admit that? And that's why that they're changing the rules here. Now, obviously, look, I think they're clearly doing it for Trump reasons, but
Yeah, weird.
I'm just here for a laugh or two. Anyone got a light?
We're in this together. Remember that.
Get to the battlefield, get the win, then get home.
Listen, I mean, it's a single electoral vote. Why don't you worry a little bit more about maybe holding Arizona or Georgia than you do about whatever the hell's going on in Nebraska because of some strange rule where you could have gotten that one. But, you know, the fact is that they're so worried because, as he says, quote, the easiest path to victory is the Midwestern 3 combined with Nebraska. I mean, right now, even those Midwestern 3 is a little bit of a question mark there, Crystal. But, you know, it is a smart strategy on the Republican side.
This is the hell that Donald Trump has after. I mean, it's like you can't take these people seriously. election rules get changed state by state on a regular basis. Now, personally, I would like to have an even bigger change and get rid of the Electoral College
That was
altogether,
awesome.
which is a preposterous, outdated, ridiculous system, in my opinion, and we can just actually have everybody's vote count in the same manner. And I would wager that Jim Messina would probably support that change as well. So is that a, hell that Donald Trump has brought changing the election rules, et cetera, et cetera? Obviously, they're doing it for partisan reasons. How about, instead of panicking about that, you actually try to win an election by offering something to the American people? You have an incredibly weak candidate. Your opponent is incredibly weak, Donald Trump. He's a criminal. People freaking hate this guy. They find him completely toxic. His unfavorables are ridiculously high. And yet you're panicked over one electoral college vote because you are lacking in such confidence in your own candidate that the very best you would be able to do is to once again eke out this very narrow victory like he did in 2020. These people are just pathetic. They're just ridiculous. And it's very clear what Biden's problems are. I mean, number one, the age issue, which I guess, since they've decided to stick with this guy, there's nothing you can really do about that. But number two, it's very apparent the polling has a massive issue with the Democratic base, especially among young people, because of the Israel policy. So how about you get a little more upset about the genocide this guy is enabling, that his own voters are disgusted by, and we'll have more on that specifically later in the show, versus, this one electoral college. They're just ridiculous people. They're just utterly ridiculous people.
Certainly, but look, from the, it's just like every data point that we possibly have tells us that this is going to be an uphill climb. From the young voter piece, the Hispanic voter piece for Trump, the widening of his minority vote share, the crumbling of the Democratic coalition, RFK Jr., yes, he does take away from Trump, but Trump has made at least enough, inroads with new coalitions of voters. Combined here, the Electoral College move, Republicans, seemingly, at least from what I can tell, have somewhat embraced mail-in voting and some of the other things now that they've decided that they have to, quote, steal the election too by playing within the existing rules of some of these bluer states.
You know what, and just to pause you on
that,
remember last time around in 2020, all the Republican freak out about how Pennsylvania had, and all these other states had made it more permissive to have mail-in balloting because you had COVID, et cetera. I mean, what Jim Messina is saying here is very much like what they were, how dare you use the, legislative process in a legal fashion to change the rules. Again, listen, if you want to have a federalized election system where it comes down from the top, I actually am personally open to some of that because I do think there should be more of a standardized system. But that's not the system we have anyway. I just can't get over
That's
how
a good point.
annoying and irritating his comments are.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really for total federalization of the elections. I like a lot of the state control that we have, and I think it actually, in general, it gives more trust within the system. That's kind of what the original intent is. But
Could be. I personally would be in favor of more uniformity of rules. It seems sort of preposterous that, in Georgia, the rules are totally different than in California, et cetera. But anyway, that's another fight for another day.
it's like, I mean, for example, I think Oregon has an all-mail-in vote. It has for a long time. Actually, a very, very high voter participation. That's something I've always thought about and looked at. And at the end of the day, that's actually what I care probably most about.
Yeah.
Let's go and put this up there on the screen, though, because this is another indication of just where things are moving in the overall direction. Currently, the Cook Political has moved the Nevada Senate race from a lean Democrat to a toss-up. Now, obviously, why does that matter? Because they already have 3 toss-ups, including Ohio, Montana, and Arizona, all seats that they have to hold if they want to retain control. Then you throw in Nevada, which not a lot of people had been paying attention to, but Nevada traditionally, I mean, look, Trump never was able to fully compete there, but it's been enough on the razor's edge in the past, and it's one of those where in a so-called red wave scenario, you definitely could see a Republican senator from the state, and most importantly, it's about the balance of power in the overall individual Senate. So just another sign, I think, to me, that things are a lot more difficult for the Democrats, both at the sub-presidential level and the presidential level. Really all they can hope for is abortion. And don't get me wrong, they will and they should bet on that because we're about to talk. But anything else, Crystal, you want to get into?
No, let's just put up this next piece up on the screen, which gives a little bit more insight into how voters feel about these 2 presidential candidates. And specifically, I think the most important thing to note here is the way that Biden has really lost a lot of ground on some key metrics with regards to just character ratings since the last time he ran in 2020. So they asked this question, you know, can they manage the government effectively? Back in 2020, a majority, 52%, said yes. Now that has fallen off a cliff, only 39%. Is he likable? Used to be 66%. It's still pretty high at 57%, but he has lost significant ground there. Displays good judgment in a crisis. He was almost at a majority last time, 49%. Now that is down at 40%. Is a strong and decisive leader, went from 46 to 38. Cares about the needs of people like you, went from 55 to 48. I mean, that is like the most core Biden value and strength that he has had as a political candidate throughout his career, and now not even a majority believes that. Is honest and trustworthy, has also fallen from a majority at 52 down to 46. Just keep it up a second so I can talk through the Trump numbers as well. It's not like Trump's numbers are amazing on these metrics either. The only one that he has a majority rating on is a strong and decisive leader. But you can see his ratings have held more or less steady since 2020. The two metrics where he lost a little bit of ground is cares about the needs of people like you, okay, 45 down to 42, and is honest and trustworthy, went from 40 to 35, so a 5-point loss on that one, which is actually significant. But overall, people, you know, tend to think Trump is more of a strong and decisive leader than Biden, and people tend to think Biden cares more about the needs of people like you than Trump. That's always been the dynamic, but I think, Sauter, one of the things that I really noted is that Biden has lost a lot of ground on these things and Trump hasn't. Now, that's probably a result of the fact that Biden is president of the United States.
Why aren't you looting this, bro?
Every day, people are paying very close attention. Trump has been a little bit out of the limelight for a while, and I think the fact that his ratings on honest, you know, telling the truth, basically, have taken a hit is indicative of the fact that some of these trials and court appearances and indictments, etc., are, he is taking on some water from that, but it's interesting to see the way that they stack up in these metrics.
It's still that when he's leading, though, in some of those critical times, one of the things, you know, the manage government effectively, that's actually a very important question. Another thing I would posit with this, everybody in the world made up their mind about Trump. Like, who in this country doesn't have an opinion that is well set now of 7 years or so about Trump? Biden, one of his great strengths was that people didn't feel a particular way about it all that much. You can project whatever you want in the 2020 election. Well, now he's in the government. People actually do have a very negative view of the way that he is running the country, whereas with Trump, it's so locked in. Biden also doesn't have that level of fervent support of people who are ride or dies and will never leave him. They're very happy to leave him if they do disagree. And I think, you know, you combine all these things, and you could definitely see some strength for Trump there in the numbers. But again, don't get me wrong, like you said, the convictions and the criminality, you know, in terms of charges and all that certainly could be a problem. We don't know. And then finally, abortion. I mean, that's just the blaring red sign for Republicans, because it is clearly one of those issues that people are very willing, even if they freaking hate the Democrats on 9 out of 10 issues, if you're with them on one, they are willing to overlook it, and we have enough data to prove that right now.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.
6 years ago, I invaded my employees' homes and roasted the worst gaming PCs that I could find. But guess what? We're doing it again. This time, NVIDIA sponsored the video, so we could not only upgrade the winner's rig, but their entire flipping setup. But they can only do one. So I'm proving, I'm taking notes. I'll be deciding what I think they need. And the best part?
Listen up, Pops. We're too spread out.
First up, we've got Mr. Robert Oakes, editor extraordinaire and big liar. Because this laptop looks perfectly good for both gaming and video editing.
I use it mostly for gaming. I haven't gotten too much editing in on it yet. Outside a little Photoshop.
That was not the point. Here's your problem right here. Pre-built?
Yep.
I thought you work at Linus Tech Tips.
I bought it back in 2017. It's almost 7 years old now. It's back in high school. So old.
The real problem, honestly speaking, though, is not the power. That seems solid enough, but really?
Shield battery here.
Regardless of whether the upgrade goes to someone more competitive, or if it goes to a site tier like Robert, The first thing they're going to want to do is turn on G-Sync. Your display does support it, and actually, you have an NVIDIA GPU. You can turn it on to eliminate pairing. It's just that you don't really have enough FPS. This is a little confusing, though. You have a much better monitor that, by the way, I recognize from our warehouse, that's not set up. Did you stage this to try to win?
A move was impending, so I just never set it up, and now it's here.
So you will be powering it off of a mismatch between this monitor and your NVIDIA insisted that these upgrades should be the full setup. Because even if you have a technological advantage like near instant pixel response times or high refresh rate, like on this gigantic OLED monitor, if you can't also take advantage of other technologies like fast CPU with NVIDIA Reflex to reduce system latency, well, the next time you go down in rank, you might not know. Was it my GPU or was it me?
It's probably me.
Oh, well. Next up, we've got Only 10, senior content writer for that. Delightful couch, and wow, look at this couch gaming set. And are you kidding? Okay, first thing, awesome setup. I love the case that you have on this. You've got the dock and everything, external SSD, and that straight up USB to SATA.
Come down here and hang out, because the storm is gonna. Oh my God, the storm is gonna push to that corner. Yeah, you're gonna die.
It was the cheapest one at Costco.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna let that storm close, and I'm gonna be trapped in this circle and being able to turn that corner once everyone goes.
Emptiness. One of NVIDIA's big emphasis points for this setup upgrade is RTX Neo HDR. I gotta say, NVIDIA, if you choose this one,
Didn't I already get you up once this game?
while it's a really cool technology that takes your SDR content and converts it.
And how many times have you died?
15, bro.
15 what?
You died right off spawn, bro. I got you up right off spawn, bro. Shut the fuck up.
Location is
I didn't.
They got us out of there, bro. Shut the fuck up.
We should have never even dropped there to begin with, but
You haven't
okay.
even been talking, bro. You haven't been talking. You've been pinging, saying where to go. Stick with the team, bro.
You can tell by
This game's
the.
been out for 5
You've
fucking
been
years.
saying
Get the fuck
that?
out.
You've been saying that all game, really?
Bedtime routine.
And a bedtime
Figure the
routine.
fuck out.
This is kind of the first time I've even heard you really say
It's the same
anything.
bedtime routine. His diary, this also has a bedtime routine in it. That is one of my setups. I actually have two. You'll notice that there's nothing there. This is where I sit when my boyfriend's lonely.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep watching what I'm watching instead of playing. Good luck.
But I use this
Have fun watching.
because the cats like the office chairs.
Redding and bronze. Redding and bronze.
This is my setup.
Your battery is running low.
Is it? Well, that's because I forgot to plug it in. I used to have a worse setup because I used to have a much smaller closet. But it was the only place in the house where I could where I could pad everything for podcasting.
I like that you've got the whole heat and noise isolation from the room that you're working in vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Professional grade setup. Oh, and if I want some privacy, I use that little curtain rod to put a blanket on it.
You have a wonderful selection of headphones, most of which are in one piece.
That was the highest spec one. It's very dead. Here we have my boyfriend's morning routine.
Yeah. That's good. Make bed. Apparently that one's optional. This is something.
It is.
Yeah.
Technically, it's foam.
Yeah.
Rings not
It's
yet
not the right kind of foam for acoustic treatment, though.
I know.
Okay. This mouse is also experiencing a distended cable.
I think they call that a hernia in humans.
And this may be the dimmest monitor that I have seen in 15 years. Is that on purpose? Like, is it turned way down?
It might be. I am very light sensitive.
Nope, it's all the way up.
Okay.
You do yoga?
I don't. This is a board I got from the hardware store.
But this is a yoga mat.
That is yoga mat. But underneath it is a board.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
The yoga mat was acquired from Valley Village.
The board
Blue
was not...
Blog.
That's
fancy.
The board was not why I asked if you do yoga. People don't do yoga on a board.
I wouldn't know. I don't do yoga.
I think I need to go now. Wow, that was an experience. Current effort level is a 0. How bad is this stuff? I don't even know. I didn't want to touch it. It was very difficult for us to determine a winner, you guys. Robert, you showed us some things that your grandmother left you. I mean, these speakers may have belonged to your great-grandmother. He pointed, very tasteful debt. He uses it to hold his computer and store his grandmother's ashes. Oni, you had the most minimalist of minimalistic setups, including the most minimal screen size I think I've ever seen. Your upgrade would probably involve binoculars at the webcam so that people might be able to see you from way back here. As for you, Jessica, we dubbed your setup the Hovel. You got 0 points for your current level of effort. You even made calling Papa John's easy by having their flyers all over the place. Those aren't mine. In some ways, even more minimalistic than Yep.
I don't just game like on a patchwork floor.
Nope, you've got a chair. Which is good. While the effort level was the lowest that we saw, I think your need could best be described as dire. And you maxed out your X Factor score. This is where Jessica podcasts. I think we can all agree that Jessica's need is the most. So as part of yours and Oni's consolation prizes, you don't live at Jessica's house. And you will each be taking home a 4070 Super! Whoa! Wow! Holy smoke. Thank you for participating and letting us judge you.
Think I want to live at my house? Is that the prize? Do I get to live somewhere else now?
No. But the prize is that we are going to give you an overhaul. However, there's a catch. It's dealer's choice. You can give us a rough idea of what you're trying to do, which you already have, and after that, it's completely up to my team of experts. We've got The Walking Hat, The Silent Enigma, and Justin, who's just in the team.
Okay, you guys ready? We have 1 hour before Linus gets here. Okay, that's it. Go! And we put the new panels over top of those. Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. Put them over top. Alright, bring it over. Fits it perfectly, like a glove.
Yeah, so this is their 27-inch, 360 hertz monitor. QD OLED is These things are freaking awesome. Dell Alienware has been killing it in the monitor game. And wait, which was this one. There we go. Nice. Alright, you ready to boot up? Woo! Tasteful.
Here we go, here we go. Look, we upgraded your shoes.
Ooh, airflow.
As you know, you need 2 setups. One of which you had already in the podcasting closet, and one of which you had a desk for, and that's about as far as you got. Well, Jessica, here it is, your desk, but now with a gaming rig.
An actual computer tower.
An actual computer tower, and I personally removed what appeared to be milk from the desk.
Oh no.
There's no milk on the desk anymore.
Oh, I thought you meant in.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so why don't we, for starters...
Okay, so where's my second one of these so I can stack them on top of each other?
You know what? I will be right back. I have a solution to that. Off the floor now. They'll consume so much less cat hair. That actually is a consideration that we should have considered. What I would like you to do is just move the mouse.
First blood. The cycle has begun.
Do you notice anything?
Well, there is a...
There have been people through here.
Pad underneath it rather than unforgiving hardwood.
Yes. Do you notice anything else?
It is wireless.
Yes. Do you notice anything else? You know, about maybe just the experience.
It is bright enough to see everything without squinting.
Okay.
Or being in a completely dark room. It has extremely low sensitivity.
Okay, leave the mouse alone.
Casual underscore defenestrator says he's low.
Is he alone?
Better?
10 seconds, the ring's just ahead.
I have autism.
I need medical aid.
Casual underscore defenestrator says, don't think whoa. Casual underscore defenestrator says, so.
Oh, you guys just got me killed. I could have just dipped and gotten out of there. You guys dumb as fuck. What the fuck? Both of you went down, flopped over, and then made me stay
Ross
there.
Grimsley
Could have
says,
just walked away.
Dave the Diver, or other
Great
various
job.
games. It's not that we were trying to snoop on you. It's just that we go up there to play super checks.
That makes sense.
And your computer would often be on playing games, and we're sitting here going, it's Dave the fucking Diver. He doesn't have a computer at home that can run this. So my point is, anyway, Jessica, please grab that window. For the love of God, grab that window and move it around and tell me you can't tell that you're at 360 hertz.
I've never looked at a screen with 360 hertz.
Okay, let's open a game. Let's just open a game.
Okay, we'll open a game then.
Let's go with Alan Wake 2. Why don't we talk about the setup? Okay, she's got an AW2725DF QD OLED gaming monitor. This thing freaking rocks. I can't not click on heads with it. I absolutely love it. It's 1440p, 360 hertz, lightning fast pixel response times. It's literally one of, if not the best gaming monitors on the market. And to go with it, we've got a whole new machine. 13600K, ASUS B760 Plus motherboard, 850 watt titanium power supply, and to drive all those pixels at up to 360 frames per second, NVIDIA sent over an RTX 4080 Super. So this thing is going to absolutely crush any game you throw at it.
Oh, that's a slow run. I don't think that's the monitor's fault. That is a slow run. I can run faster than that, and I've had...
It's HDR.
Yeah. It looks very nice. I'm very happy. I don't know if that bothers you.
Thank you for telling us explicitly. We actually do appreciate that.
I am experiencing very positive emotions. Hi! That is what you get jaywalking in New York. Just getting punched by shadow demons.
The best part, guys, is that we don't have to be limited to just games that support HDR to get these dazzling lights and this level of
the water effect.
See, that's good. You're doing good. Now you'll be hosting Tech Tips in no time.
Yeah.
Let's play an older game and show you guys how RTX HDR conversion works. Did you ever play the Batman games?
I did originally on console. I did.
Okay, well let's fix that. Woo! So the big thing we're seeing here is that this is a game that was never remastered in HDR, and yet, man, look at the lights of Gotham City. Lightning flash, though. That timing couldn't have been any better. Look, thugs. Go get them.
Those could be just nice young men.
They're destroying a car.
This guy's not.
Did you take off in the air? How are you liking the setup?
It's really cool.
We've got you a new keyboard.
Yes.
New mouse. Basically everything. Just this desk seems extremely sturdy.
Yes.
And we felt that it was fine. All right. There's more. Check this out.
Cable
Wires. I know. Well, no, not just the wires are new.
They are.
Yes, the management of them is also new, but the wires themselves are new. Check this out.
45 seconds, rings close.
Where do they go? Let's play Follow the Cables. By the way, you might have noticed we're using our new magnetic Ethernet. Here it is. Your laptop stack. Oh, wow, you seem surprisingly unconcerned by that. Okay, well anyway, you're not going to be using them anymore. That was my point. And you won't be using these anymore either. You'll be using none of that. Goodbye. Ta-da! Have a seat. Oh, closet. The closet is not what's new. What's new is the proper acoustic channels, which, go ahead, lean in and talk.
Backpack here. Leather too.
Also, we had pretty limited space to work with in here, which got us thinking, what if there was a creative monitor that could give you way more screen real estate, but was an unconventional shape? Yeah. So we chose the LG Dual Up. It's a taller than normal monitor that gives you not only way more space, but as you noticed before, way more brightness as well. And what's really cool about this is that we're using a fiber optic DisplayPort cable to run the monitor, and then we're using an active USB cable to get your peripherals over here. So this is the same computer. Yes. Which means that if you wanted, you could podcast on your...
You don't have to drag the whole tower over here?
Yeah.
You hear that? There's a cat.
You just drag yourself over here, and you're good to go. We've got your audio interface. We've got a USB 3 hub, so you can run other devices if you need to, and you could even game in here
if I really wanted to feel like that.
You probably also couldn't help noticing that we managed to put a mouse pad in. Justin custom cut this to be exactly the size of your board. How do the headphones feel?
Well, they don't make my head hurt.
Okay.
Which is good. They're very light.
Yes.
And they're very soft.
These are the DT770 Pros from Beyerdynamic. They are amazing. They're one of my personal favorites, and it's all about the comfort. And here, if you pop them off for a second, the noise isolation. So they've got this nice, I don't know what the hell to call this.
Chinchilla.
Chinchilla fur, yes. Chinchilla fur ear cup. And then they are a closed back headphone, but they still sound really good, even though closed back is not generally my preference. I cannot get over what a difference in image quality this new monitor is. And again, shout out Infinite Cables, that active display port cable. I use those same ones at my house, and they are flipping amazing. And the best part is that, you know how laptop fans tend to be kind of whiny, right? If you're ever recording a podcast or anything in here, computer's in a completely separate room. Well, this was an absolute blast. Thank you, Jessica, for hosting us, and I hope you enjoy your upgrade. It is significant. And thanks again to NVIDIA for sponsoring this video. They are also doing another giveaway. And Green Screen Linus is going to tell you guys how to enter. Want an RTX 4080 Super? You want it for free? Well, all you have to do is click the link in the description or head on over to our Twitter page for a chance to win a 4080 Super Founders Edition, courtesy of NVIDIA. With technologies like DLSS 3 and frame generation, just like our 3 winners today, you can reach those high frame rates in demanding games like Alan Wake. But remember, there can be only one winner. If you guys enjoyed this video, we always love handing out upgrades, and it's even better. I don't have to do any of the work. Hey, you guys did great.
Nothing up my sleeves, and what's up? Extra supplies.
In case you've been living in a bog, Shrek, the children's ogre from the 2001 film of the same name, is back and weirder than ever. This seemingly benign computer-animated monster has spawned a world of memes, whole remade movies, dance parties, and chilling short stories. At last point, now is a good time to warn you that this episode does contain frank discussions of childhood sexual abuse and the 9/11 terrorist attacks. I know it seems strange, but I promise that by the end of this episode, the connection between jihadist terrorism, child abuse, and a cartoon ogre will be crystal clear. The movie Shrek was released in 2001 by DreamWorks Animation, a movie studio best known online for popularizing DreamWorks. Before that, there was Shrek.
What? It's a compliment. Better out than in, I always say.
Based on William Steig's 1990 children's book, the movie Shrek stars Mike Myers and Mike Myers' voice as a grumpy ogre pressed into adventure when his swamp is threatened by a development and resettlement project led by the evil Lord Farquaad, voiced by John Lithgow.
The ogre has fallen in love with the princess. Oh, good lord.
The movie features all kinds of classic fairy tale characters like Pinocchio and the Three Blind Mice and Donkey. Maybe that last one's not exactly a classic, but whatever. The film has spawned 3 sequels, 2 TV movies. Those would be Shrek the Halls and Scared Shrekless, a Broadway musical that features a art battle interlude. And a whole series of films based around the beloved Puss in Boots character, voiced by Antonio Banderas. It also gave birth to a wealth of classic, quotable lines. Not a day goes by that I don't find myself saying, "What are you doing in my swamp?" or "I'm making waffles," or, of course, "Not my gumdrop buttons."
Shrek and its associated affiliate properties are a fixed, immovable part of the cultural firmament. There are, or were, good reasons for this. The original Shrek was praised not only for its state-of-the-art computer graphics, but also its irony, for having a relatively sophisticated sense of humor. It was essentially a fairy tale movie about fairy tales, and it treated the stock characters and tropes of the children's stories of old with a degree of irreverence and irony that played well with children and their parents and/or guardians.
We laughed so hard, her ears popped out.
But just a few months after Shrek's original theatrical release, something happened that would change the way the world engaged with the idea of irreverence and irony. Yes, 9/11, a massive, earth-shattering tragedy that would spark years of wars, political division, and an era of global instability that is arguably still ongoing. The feeling that basically every world leader is just a warmongering clown fed a sense of cynicism and alienation and irony. Irony would emerge.
I will try.
Effect of a post-9/11 world. Pop culture fandom, especially pop culture fandom on the internet, is fueled by a sense of, is this real? Could you possibly mean this? That feeling may have mutated over the years, but Shrek, of all things, has been at the center of those cultural mutations. The cultural reworking and reclamation started just over a decade ago, deep in the mires of the weird internet. In 2010, a shitposting Twitter user named Dilbert, using the handle @ILikeStapler, posted the inscrutable text, "Why Shrek is pissed? Why Shrek is pissed?" followed by the hashtag Italiano. This was followed in short order by a YouTube video titled Shrek is Pissed, which featured a version of the cartoon ogre frowning and having his face violently torn off, revealing a frowning skull underneath. Gnarly. These early interventions into the iconography of Shrek seemed silly and shitposty and a little sinister, depicting Shrek as secretly disgusting and, well, pissed. And then things changed again.
Shrek is pissed.
In January of 2013,
There's no way for me to even get to you. As soon as I get up, I'm already being attacked by them.
one of the internet's
They're on me from the time I dropped in.
corners, 4chan. What happened was this. An anonymous user posted a strange green text story. A green text story is a type of post that's been popular on 4chan since the 2010s that uses short staccato sentences for a kind of halting cadence. Often they're anecdotes that relate something unflattering about the poster's life. One was a little bit different. This one was about a young boy who prayed to and worshipped Shrek. And for his dutiful service, he was ritually sodomized by Shrek. Despite being violently abused by the ogre, the boy still sang his praises with the short hymn, Shrek is Love. Shrek is Life. This 6-word mantra became its own meme, spread via YouTube videos, dramatic retellings of the original stories, subsequent videos, more and more green text stories that built of weird sexualized Shrek worship. Like so much that comes out of 4chan, the whole Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life thing is a mix of violent fantasy, sexual perversion, and profound alienation deeply steeped in irony. By May of 2013, a Reddit user named Sir Barrington had posted the words, Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life, scrawled in a school library. This cult of perverse Shrek worship had graduated into the real world. Fast forward to now, and the Shrekaissance seems to be more popular than ever. In July 2022, no less than the New York Times wrote about a Shrek rave happening in Brooklyn. The meaning of Shrek had broken into the mainstream legacy media. All the news that's fit to print, and Shrek raves. Launched in LA in 2022, these parties featured drag performances, mosh pits, and revelers dressed up and dancing to Smash Mouth's All-Star every hour on the hour. A lot of the Shrek memes involve All-Star. The song was prominently featured in the original film, and like Shrek, Smash Mouth has been a meme for a minute. Take, for only one example, mouth sounds. I can't help but wonder at what level these albums and parties are operating. Is it sincere? Is it ironic? Is it cynical? Is it some crossbreed of all three? In that New York Times article, one of the Shrek ravers praised the nonsensical nature of the
Is anyone else coming here?
Another said that Shrek resonates with millennials because it is a effective metaphor for America's military expansion.
You said no?
Post 9/11. So, if that is the case, then America is John Lithgow's puny king, and the swamp is Iraq, or the swamp is Afghanistan, and then Shrek is a Shia Muslim, or wait, okay, maybe Shrek is America, and the plan to clear his swamp is like the 9/11 attacks, and so Donkey is Colin Powell, and the tortured gingerbread man is an Abu Ghraib victim. I don't fucking know. Ads for the Shrek raves proudly proclaim it's dumb, come have fun. And maybe that's it. Shrek is dumb. It's as uncomplicated as a Smash Mouth chorus. But that doesn't quite satisfy. Lots of things are dumb as shit. Why Shrek in particular? As improbably popular as they are, these Shrek raves aren't the first example of massive collaborative Shrek entertainment, nor are they the first example of trying to reclaim Shrek in a more positive post-4chan.
Hi, I'm Connor Zapixie. I am a co-director / producer on Shrek 2 Retold alongside Grant Dufferin, and I'm a creative director at 3GI Industries, which is the organization that hosts Shrek Fest every year, Labor Day weekend in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So 2014 came around, and there was a fake Facebook event listed for something called Shrek Fest in Madison, Wisconsin. Grant and all of his buddies were from Milwaukee, so it was a quick trek over to Madison. They show up the day it was listed, no one is there, nothing is happening. They were kind of like, oh, this is a joke, so if this is a joke and no one's actually doing it, why don't we just do it? We love Shrek, we love this, let's just do it. So 2014 was the first Shrek Fest. So he had this idea way back in the day to recreate Shrek, and his idea was everyone would just get a scene. He basically just started contacting people who were already participating in Reanimated online, and a lot of times people were just like, you're crazy.
Shrek Retold was part of a large post-2000s internet trend, the Reanimated collab, or Reanimate. These take classic copyrighted properties like Sailor Moon or Super Mario and The Simpsons and reanimate them in different styles. They're kind of like bootleg Chanel bags or t-shirts that you buy in the parking lot after a concert. They're close to the original, but have qualities all their own.
Shrek Retold, I think why it kind of exploded as much as it did is because you can grab people from different pockets of the internet, people who would never interact otherwise. Like, I'm grabbing you voice a scene with this Texas artist that I adore, her name is Ji-Young Choi, who does all these puppets, and then other voices in that scene, we got other YouTubers who would never know about Ji-Young Choi and might never know about Sam Sutherland, and they're all coming together on this one scene. I think it kind of ended up becoming a bit of a beacon for internet counterculture in a way. Again, you look at the early pictures from the first couple Shrek Fest, and it's cheap, it's simple, it's like they're wearing Party City costumes, they're wearing costumes made out of cardboard, and it's a hand spray painted banner, and so there's no barrier to entry. If you're doing something in MS Paint that looks interesting, I'm all for it.
Shrek Retold proved so popular that it even spawned a sequel, Shrek 2 Retold. It was a bigger story with more characters and more collaborators. Like 700 people took part in it. I was honored to be one of them. Hey, look, a little cat.
Look out, Shrek, he's got a pee.
Cat, donkey. Come here, little kitty, kitty, kitty. Come on, little kitty, come here. Oh, come here, little kitty. Okay, so we're talking Shrek. We're talking Shrek Retold. You participated in your first Shrek Retold. Can you just tell me a little bit about why would a man want to appear in a reanimated film?
Why wouldn't a man want to? Why wouldn't a man want to? There's, so I think if you ask 99% of people on the street, would they like to appear in his voice? 10 seconds.
Whoa, somebody's close.
A portion of the movie Shrek. They'd probably say yes.
A long period of time. I just call me old-fashioned. Yeah, I just don't want to rush into
a physical relationship. I'm
I
not
got a bird over
emotionally
here
ready
in my
for
head.
a commitment of this magnitude.
But how much of the smoke y'all want to get into?
Magnitude. That is unwanted physical contact. Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I gotta say, it is an honor to star alongside you in Shrek 2 Retold, which I also cannot wait to see.
It's an honor to star alongside you.
Do you have any sort of thoughts on why it is that, Shrek, of all the pieces of entertainment from the last 2 decades, is the thing that has created this meme vortex?
It's a really good question because
I'm moving!
There's so many pieces of popular media that could have been.
Look at me go! Look at me go!
Memification, and yet it's the Shrek that did it. One aspect could be that
I have legs.
No shade to the film or the people who created it themselves, because obviously it's a great movie and it's a very entertaining. But like, there is something about it aesthetically that is slightly off and is maybe like slightly hideous in a way that maybe was not entirely intended. In some respects, it's kind of like a weirdly ugly movie. Could also just be right time, right place. You're talking about Shrek arriving.
My legs are small.
Point culturally during the dawn of a lot of pivotal stuff going on.
I have small legs.
That's probably a movie that many people from that world grew up on. Or sort of like have at least like a fond memory of or something. Shrek has had its moment in the news, and I think again it sort of like says a lot about ironic humor and mockery of a thing. If it continues and repeats over and over and over, can slowly morph into genuine fandom of the thing. And the mockery turns into a form of love and celebration as opposed to overtaking pissing. Which I think is a cycle that is not unique to Shrek.
No, I'm gonna attach to my gun first.
Collabs, take a big cultural bulwark and make it feel collaborative and personal.
Do what you gotta do.
You hear a lot these days that big icons of popular culture are now part of our shared mythology. That Spider-Man or Superman or Super Mario are so big that they belong to all of us. Make fun of the Guardians of the Galaxy on Twitter, and a Marvel stan is sure to magically appear in your mentions and tell you that actually, the talking raccoon is just like Achilles or Jesse James or Johnny Appleseed or whatever. CGI creatures that are part of our shared cultural imagination. Reanimates actually make good on that idea. They seize intellectual property and riff on it, turning Sailor Moon or Shrek into actual folk heroes whose stories can be freely reinterpreted. They're like Robin Hood, robbing the coffers of DreamWorks or the Nintendo Corporation and giving back to us plebes in the fanbase. But what happens when the people, or rather the large, faceless corporations who actually own all this IP, don't like having their coffers ready?
What do I do?
What happens when they try to strike back?
There isn't one moment where I like.
Should I put my drop out and give our position away?
People have one specific moment where they realize they were cis. Yeah, maybe you do. Like I asked you, this is none of my business. It's none of your business. Anyway, when I figured out I was trans, like blurring of all these tiny but very important gender.
Damn, you thief!
This is The People's Joke, a 2022 film written and directed by Vera. Made in a highly collaborative manner, largely during the COVID-19 lockdowns, the film borrows on the dance mythology of the Joker, Gotham City's clown prince of crime. But Vera uses all this lore to tell a new story, her own story.
The germ of the idea for the People's Joker came about in early 2020. Todd Phillips was in the news. He's the director of 2019's Joker and Old School. No Trick.
And the Gigi Allen documentary, which kind of fucked my mind up when I realized. I mean, is he punk? Is he cool? I mean, that kind of thing.
He might, I think he and I might be the proof that you don't stay punk forever. So yeah, it was like right after Joker started getting like all of its like award nominations and stuff. He was in the news complaining about woke culture and how it was like too hard to make comedy now or whatever because I guess of like pronouns or queer people or whatever. And
Amy LaRose, my co-writer of The People's Joker, saw that article, went on Twitter and was basically like, I will only see this motherfucker's movie if my friend Vera Drew does a re-edit of it. And I said, challenge accepted, and then she Venmoed me $12. So I started actually kind of making a remix movie using Todd Phillips' Joker and using clips from Joel Schumacher Batman movies and stuff like that to sort of make a new, like, long-form piece of media. And I wanted to use it as an opportunity to sort of explore comedy itself and just kind of how it's used in propaganda for the state, how it, you know, really helped inform my queer identity and my identity as an artist, and also how it kind of kept me locked in irony poisoning. And then at a certain point, I think, you know, we were writing, and I think it was like our second writing session or something. We were just like, let's just make this an actual movie. Like, let's make a Joker parody, but let's make one that is, like, kind of about all these themes and about my experience as a trans woman working and coming out as trans in comedy.
The People's Joker made its public premiere at the 2022 Toronto International Film Festival, with a late-night slot in the coveted Midnight Madness program, which foregrounds genre films, outsider art, and films that fall outside of the festival's usual mandate of screening Hollywood dramas that will be in theaters in 6 weeks for an audience of sponsors and bankers who got to do some work. The People's Joker is a genuinely weird, interesting movie, and it would have massively benefited from the publicity and prestige gleaned by bowing, as they say of these things, at one of the world's major film festivals. But the bowing did not quite go according to plan.
So the night before our premiere, we got a letter from Warner Brothers, and it was previously misreported as a cease and desist. It wasn't an official cease and desist. It was basically just kind of a strongly worded letter with very legalese language in it. Actually, it was kind of a weird letter to get from Warner Brothers legal department.
There's a fight up to our left. We got to get down to the right.
Gave me a compliment in it. They were like, you know, despite Vera being a very talented filmmaker and telling a really compelling story,
I can heal you if you get to me.
We feel this is a massive copyright infringement, and you need to show this letter to any film festivals that want to program you, and you need to show it to any people that want to buy your movie. So I got this at like 11 o'clock the night before our screening. Like, thank goodness Tiff advocated for us, because eventually, you know, the head of Warner Canada was like, okay, I understand, you guys can have your premiere. It was the most beautiful experience ever. Like, you know, I went into that screening pretty cynical and pretty scared. I think mostly because, to me, it was so clearly like Warner Brothers was just trying to intimidate me, and they did a pretty good job about it, and they were really just kind of trying to kill a big film sale. So I kind of went into that premiere going like, I don't know what the fuck this is gonna be. Like, this is probably gonna be the last time we screen this movie.
Well, that's kind of bullshit, isn't it? I mean, if superhero movies really do constitute a shared folklore, then shouldn't fans like Vera be allowed to share in it? It's not like anybody in their right mind could mistake her film for an actual licensed canon Joker movie. And I mean, what meaningful harm could the People's Joker possibly pose to the legacy and fortunes of the Joker? Will it somehow make him look bad? What would the Joker himself think of intellectual property?
The Joker would think I was a pussy, to be honest, because, like, I'm not trying to steal IP with this movie. I'm very much trying to find a distribution path for it. Going back to, is Todd Phillips a punk? Am I really a punk? Like, probably not. I'm more pop punk. You know, like, I'm trying to get this movie out there to theaters and get a theatrical run, so...
Don't go up there!
You know, I think that was something that I really struggled with after Tip was like, oh, am I, like, losing punk cred, or was I, like, a loser for, like, using the Joker and then, like, still trying to sell this movie? And it's like, no, I'm not the Joker. It's okay. I'm a filmmaker. I'm Vera Drew. I made a movie, and I want people to see it, and I want it to play in theaters, and I think it will. So, and maybe the Joker can get behind that. But yeah, I think the Joker would think I'm a big, just sopping wet coward. And yeah, I kind of used that opportunity to sort of go back and look at sort of the legality of it and figure out with like our legal.
You got a
team,
mobile
like,
respawn
okay,
at all?
Do we actually still think this is a parody? And I don't know.
I can
mean,
heal
like,
you if you get to me.
Every lawyer's favorite movie, which was absolutely my childhood dream, was to become a filmmaker, a favorite lawyer favorite. But everybody's on the same page that the movie follows U.S. copyright law to the letter of the law, and it follows fair use. It's clearly a parody movie, just like any other parody movie, like Scary Movie or whatever. The only difference is it's a parody movie that also makes people cry and is about the millennial trans experience.
I guess this is one of those weird, sad things about modern life. All this culture that we share in, all this stuff that we're told belongs to us, it doesn't actually belong to us. It's kind of fucked up. And it speaks to the sort of power that these corporations can wield when they want.
Get in the box, you Jezebel!
This sort of corporate control has now become part of popular culture, baked into the stories themselves. Think of stuff like the Lego Movie or the Space Jam sequel with LeBron James, or Ready Player One, or the insanely popular Barbie movie. At a narrative level, these movies are very much about the contested fight for ownership between fans and media conglomerates. They take up that ironic fairy tale about a fairy tale quality of the original Shrek, but they're corporate blockbusters about corporate blockbusters. However stupid, Space Jam 2 or The Flash, or clever like the Lego Movie or Barbie, their project can never truly be self-critical. All the winking and the irony only ever redounds to the benefit of the corporations, making them seem smarter, hipper, more savvy. It's like buying a ticket to kick a guy in the nuts. Even if you think you're getting your shots in, he is still profiting off it.
Have said to the internet in general and a little bit of fan community I had around my art at that time. Bree and I are making a really gay Batman movie, and if anybody wants to help us, here's how to get in touch with us. And I wasn't really expecting that many people to kind of come out of the woodwork, but the initial response to that sort of like call to arms was completely overwhelming. Like I woke up the next day with just like an inbox full of messages from artists and animators and actors, other filmmakers, a lot of lawyers, all these people who just like wanted to help us make this movie. And a lot of it too was people who had never made a movie before, didn't work in TV, I don't think really had aspirations to make a film or anything like that, but just wanted to see this movie and wanted to help us make it. So it really started from this place of just like being a kind of art for art's sake thing between friends, and then from there snowballed into this kind of big community online project. And it was also cashing in a lot of favors. I'd worked in television for 10 years at that point, and I'd worked with a lot of really cool people. I'd worked on a show called Birthday Boys that Bob Odenkirk was the showrunner on, and I was like, I know he just got nominated for an Emmy, so I doubt he's going to want to work with us, but let's see if Bob Odenkirk would want to play Bob the Goon. And for some reason he did. It was like kind of the coolest fucking phone call I've ever had in my life, was explaining this project to Bob Odenkirk and like hearing him go between, it sounded like he was on set or something, like walking between trailers because he was like out of breath and just like okay, Joker, okay, trans Joker, all right, cool.
Shrek raves, reanimates, and films like
the fuck up here if you can
offer a counterbalance to the sense of wall-to-wall cultural control that can induce feelings of powerlessness and alienation. These are projects that are less about a product than about a process, less about consumption than creation. Corporations will always want to dictate what Shrek or the Joker means, but for people who love these characters and find meaning in them, they will want to share that experience with others. Does it suck that the only culture we have left is consumerism? Yes, of course, but for now it is still possible to find personal meaning within the range of limited consumerism.
I'm going down over here.
That meaning might be weird and sinister, like a story about a pervert ogre sneaking into a child's bedroom window at night. Or it might be triumphant and incredible, like a trans Joker origin story that makes a virtue of the character's outsider status. In short, be the Joker, or the Super Mario, or the Sailor Moon, or the Shrek that you want to see in the world. In a land of seemingly limited cultural horizons, there are perhaps worse calls to action than "it's done, come have fun." Why Shrek? Well, maybe because it's all we've got.
Only 2 enemy squads left.
it's like a TPS thing.
Yeah. So what happens if you get 1,000? Maybe that's Oh, I'm definitely not that good at learning, period.
Yeah.
Big farts today.
We're gonna listen to a lot of farts. Thank you.
What is the fart?
It's 200 bits. So it's like a TPS thing.
Yeah. So what happens if you get 1,000 bits?
Oh, then it plays like a TikTok song. So like yeah, usually for every like bit amount there's like a different sound.
Okay.
So we might have to hear some interesting noises. But thank you for the farts.
We're farting today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, many farts, especially great.
Cyrus Teed's remains sat in a custom-built zinc bathtub for 5 days after he died. On the first day, doctors had declared him dead of natural causes. By day 3, his earthly body displayed the usual post-mortem changes, and worse. It was the undignified, decaying end for a man who commanded celibacy, promised immortality, and revealed a brand new science of the cosmos. There's actually a photo of Teed's decomposing body from that third day. It was significant to his devoted followers because it was Christmas, and I definitely can't show you that photo because YouTube will ban this video. They stuck with him to the end and past the end until the county forced his burial because his followers believed that he wasn't really dead at all. They thought he was just in a state of suspended animation. They were convinced that Cyrus Teed would be resurrected. He was Koresh, their messiah, but he was also their trusted astronomer. He was the man who had succeeded where Aristotle, Eratosthenes, Galileo, and Copernicus had all failed. But they've been told a lie based on a truth that he unraveled one of the universe's greatest secrets. The part was that the Earth is round. The lie he exposed to his followers and the world was that they were all living on its surface. Because Cyrus Teed knew that they weren't living on the Earth at all. They were living inside of it. Before Cyrus Teed realized that he was humanity's 7th messianic leader and the first to arrive since Jesus, he worked as a hogman, one of the boys who drove the mules that pulled boats on the Erie Canal. He left school at 11 to work, and his day consisted of a 6-hour, 15-mile walk down the canal, taking a break, and then walking for another 6 hours and 15 miles before loading animals and boating back. He'd grown up in Utica,
Are there people near us?
the population of which had grown by 500% since its founding a few decades earlier, which was about 190 years before Thunder Mifflin was landed. It's actually not that surprising that a kid from this part of the world grew up to build a fringe scientific religious movement. That part of New York was a hotbed of religious activity through the Second and Third Great Awakenings, and people there were exploring the viability of alternative religious living. The communalist Oneida community was formed just miles from Teed's home, together making bags and hats and furniture for income. The commune would eventually make silverware, and though the community itself dissolved in 1881, the business survived, and Oneida Limited is still one of the largest silverware manufacturers in the world. He was immersed in a cultural environment of communal experimentation and religious revival, and he was inspired by being a distant relative of Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism. But even a messiah needs a job. The last one had to learn carpentry, so at 20, Teed began an apprenticeship with his physician uncle in Utica. He enlisted as a corporal in the Union Army in 1862, and he was discharged after severe sunstroke caused temporary paralysis in one of his legs. The rank of corporal was the 16th highest rank out of 17 during the Civil War, behind 10 officer ranks and 5 enlisted ranks, and only ahead of private. But by the time Teed had completed his studies at the Eclectic Medical College of the City of New York in 1868, his story about his past military service had, changed. Now he'd been a medic.
Your partner's least attractive feature. He grows a lot of pubic hair. I've seen it before. Oh. So sorry. You're gonna sit. Your bald head. Snoring. She talks a lot. Between snoring and she talks. Video, I'm locking the car. We're having a nice talk on the way home. What's your partner's least attractive? You're right. I gotta go. You should have pulled it harder.
Ready to go.
Clips are what cities use in their hair. This is called a magazine.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's nicer than your truck. And I bet his girlfriend's hotter than mine.
Need something? I'm sure we can come to an agreement.
Your best.
This is your champion. I'm in a class of my own.
That must be a great goddamn shit. They taught me something to finish
Let's land here. Hit the jets. We're dropping hot.
In the war, and he'd seen with his own eyes that wounded men of faith healed better and faster. His followers later morphed that lore into Teed having been a doctor in the war. So, yeah, we have the origins of a grifter. Wait, what is eclectic medicine? I'm making more videos than ever. On top of Vsauce 2 videos and the brand new Mindflow channel, I'm now producing weekly uploads for a science publication that's been around longer than the telephone. I've relaunched the Popular Science channel with a bunch of videos you can watch right now. One explores trepanation and the 7,000-year-old tradition of putting holes in our heads. Next, I tell the story of a forgotten 40-year-old virtual assistant called Butler in a Box. And I try to get one to work today. And there's a 3D animated visualizer showcasing the solar system to scale as animals. I have so many ideas for videos inspired directly from the pages of 150 years of the magazine that covered visions of the flying cars we still don't have, crazy inventions that ended up being really smart and some really dumb, X-ray glasses and basement toilets that flushed up. It's all about exploring the hearts and minds of 2 centuries of humans launching themselves headfirst into an unknown future. So please go subscribe to the new Popular Science channel, link in the description. If you like Vsauce 2, you're going to love what I'm doing over on Popular Science. Balloon Kevin is already over there. Now it's time for you to join us. Click the link down in the description below and subscribe now. As medical training improved, expanded, and professionalized, a movement sprung up that encompassed everything else. Eclectic medicine rejected traditional medicine. It was part herbalism, part chemistry, part spiritualism, part native remedies, and whatever its practitioners wanted to experiment with. It didn't have any rules, which made it perfect for Cyrus Teed. The sign for his practice in Utica said, "He who deals out poison deals out death." And next door, he built what he called an electro-alchemical laboratory. He was married, he had a son, and he had a career. But then everything changed in 1869 when Teed became the first human to ever successfully conduct an experiment in chrysopia, which means he transmuted lead into gold. Cyrus Teed did not turn lead into gold, but he believed he had, and that an angel, exactly as described in the Book of Revelation, told him, "Thou art chosen to redeem the race." Cool. He described the encounter in detail in the Illumination of Koresh, marvelous experience of the great alchemist 30 years ago at Utica, New York. Books didn't really have snappy titles then, including the knowledge that his followers would live forever and that a divine motherhood in the form of a female partner would join him. Okay, so we have weird science, conversations with God, promises of immortality, and orders to grow a movement around it all. That's how you get a Hollow Earth cult. He tried to convince his medical patients of his religious truths, and he tried to convince the religious community of scientific truths, which meant that, you know, perfect medical practice dried up instantly and his career was over in Utica. He moved 100 miles south to Binghamton, where his scientific religious movement of one, just him, doubled in size. He met Dr. Abby Andrews, who found Teed to be intelligent and compelling. He was sort of like Watson to Teed's eccentric Sherlock. Practicing alternative medicine plus new religion in Binghamton worked out about how you'd expect, and which was not very good, and Teed moved further west toward Ontario. Lynn Milner describes Teed in The Allure of Immortality as being a doctor without patience and a shepherd with no flock. He tried to ingratiate himself with already existing religious communities like the Harmony Society in Pennsylvania with very little to no success. People just didn't trust him. Teed began using the name Koresh, which is just the Hebrew version of his actual name, Cyrus. And its Persian and Hebrew roots express the concepts of sun and a guiding light, foresight, and cultivation. Really everything you want in a messiah. That's also why David Koresh changed his name. David Koresh had a little more biblical gravitas than Vernon Howell. He planned a society that completely rejected capitalism and was built on equal rights, especially for women. He considered marriage to be an institution of female enslavement, which resonated with women in loveless, abusive, or just really bad marriages. He promised them freedom. Celibacy returned full autonomy over one's body to its owner, which has a certain logic to it, but then things got weird. Lynn Milner writes that instead of acting on their physical desires, his followers should instead redirect sexual desire toward a desire for closeness with God, specifically toward Teed. By focusing their love on him, they would ensure their immortality on Earth. Once enough followers did this, their energy would cause an electromagnetic explosion in his brain and consume the pineal gland responsible for sexual potency. This would enable him to path into his chosen woman and become divine, both male and female, a mother-father god. At this point, his believers would become immortal. Yeah, slick move, buddy. What's this have to do with a hollow Earth? Nothing. And everything. Every movement, cultural, political, social, needs some kind of differentiator. Otherwise, it's just too close to something else that already exists. Teed's eclectic Koreshanity took on science, society's most rapidly advancing body of knowledge, and said,
I think they might have jumped down.
Robert Fogarty summarized Teed's understanding of
I had the high ground on them.
the Copernican theory of an illimitable universe.
I only hit them,
was
they didn't hit me at all.
Because the Earth had a limited form. It was concave. The sun is an invisible electromagnetic battery revolving in the universe's center, on a 24-year cycle. Our visible sun is only a reflection, as is the moon, with the stars reflecting off 7 mercurial disks that float in the sphere's center. Inside the Earth, there are 3 separate atmospheres. The first composed of oxygen and nitrogen and closest to the Earth. The second, a hydrogen atmosphere above it. Third, a boron atmosphere at the center. The Earth's shell is 100 miles thick and has 17 layers. The outer 7 are metallic with a gold rind on the outermost layer. The middle 5 are mineral and the 5 inward layers are geologic strata. Inside the shell, there is life. Outside, a void. If you've never heard of the element of boron, that's because it doesn't exist. Cyrus Teague made it up. Koresh Shanabi was part physics, part metaphysics, part politics, and part religion, and it was starting to work. He traveled around the Northeast spreading his gospel, and after running a mop business into the ground, he moved to New York City to start a small commune, Koreshans. It's worth noting that part of that move seems to have been running away from a lawsuit claiming he defrauded a woman out of her fortune. So there's that. And his wife had gotten sick and died while he was on the Koresh Shanabi circuit, so he just moved past all that. At least in the New York City of the late 1800s, he could operate on the fringes of religion, science, and medicine without really getting kicked out of any of it. And in 1886, an invitation to speak at a National Association of Mental Science conference in Chicago turned into Teague and the Koreshans moving there, and that's where he founded a metaphysical institution called World College of Life and a monthly newsletter called The Guiding Light. By 1888, Teague and his 126 followers were living on 8 picturesque acres in Chicago. Most of the residents were women, and all of them believed they were living deep inside the gold rind of the earth. But the more followers Koreshandi attracted, the more conflicts they had with the city of Chicago and their neighbors. And Teague had a lot of problems with his followers' husbands. A lot. So what did he do? He became one of the first true Florida men. He promised the Koreshans that their new community on the southwest coast of Florida would be a new Jerusalem that would soon be the home of 8 million people walking on perfectly planned streets paved with gold. Teague wrote, "There will be no smudge or smoke. Power by which machinery will be moved will be by the utilization of the electromagnetic currents of the earth and air, independently of steam application to so-called dynamos. Motors will take the place of motion derived from steam pressure. The city will be constructed on the most magnificent scale, without the use of so-called money. These things can be done easily." Initially, they got thatched roofed shacks and ate a lot of loggerhead turtles, but the 200 Koreshans eventually constructed a bakery, a sawmill, lecture halls, schools, and an outdoor theater. They built and grew a broad range of sustainable businesses and enterprises. The Koreshan community was actually working, or at least not failing miserably. He crafted the religion and the community, but he still had to prove that we were all living inside a shell. The openness of the land and the water into the Gulf of Mexico was a perfect testing ground for Teague's concave Earth theory, so he built a device that could prove to the world they were living inside a cosmogenic egg. We don't really hear about cosmogony all that much. In the scientific sense, it goes beyond cosmology's study of the observable universe to speculate on its deepest origins. It's a broader approach that could include creation myths like the
And up here, and
models
these
that
guys are gonna be coming out of there
everywhere
somehow.
from Finland to Polynesia. Deciding where cosmology stops and cosmogony begins can get really murky. So it was perfect for Teed, who still insisted his ideas were rooted in hard science. In Hollow Earth, David Standish describes what Teed was trying to prove. The idea was simple. If the Earth's curvature were convex, a straight line extended for any distance would touch at only one point. But if it were concave and the line long enough, it would eventually bump into the upcurving surface. He worked with Ulysses Grant Morrow, a flat earther who Teed had converted into a concave earther, to detail his theories in the cellular cosmogony, including the results of their scientific experiments using a device Morrow built called a rectilineator, which sounds like something you shouldn't Google. You should. The task was to prove that everything we think we know largely comes from optical illusions by projecting a straight line far enough to generate conclusive measurements of concavity. The cellular cosmogony describes the rectilineator as a number of sections in the form of double T squares, each 12 feet in length, with braced and tensioned cross arms 4 feet in length. The length of the cross arms is to the length of the section as 1 is to 3. The material of which the sections of the rectilineator are constructed is inch mahogany, seasoned for 12 years in the shops of the Pullman Palace Car Company, Pullman, Illinois. The Koreans built a rectilineator on the beach, taking sections that looked like pieces of a fence and joining them with screws and brass fittings, making sure that they were perfectly level and using fine gauges to ensure the tolerance was within 1/1000th of an inch. They took exhaustive measurements and changes of the projected line, which were then officially signed by Mrs. Bertholdine Boomer, then detached the backmost part of the rectilineator to extend the front part until they then hit a predetermined point at which they did the whole thing backwards to the starting point to verify that the alignment had been correct. They measured for 2.5 miles on land before they ran into water. They did about 2 more miles measuring with boats, and they got all the data they needed to prove that the Earth's surface was indeed concave. Morrow was so confident in the brilliance of the Korean experiment that even before they started, he planned to submit an application for a Nobel Prize.
Oh my God, they came around?
Ulysses Grant Morrow did not win.
They should have never come to you
The
guys.
rectilineator was flawed. Believe it or not, the data was bad, and although mahogany is one of the more stable woods, any furniture maker at the time of Teed could have told him it would swell and contract from spending months in the most volatile humidity the United States had to offer. The measurements were garbage, but they put it all in the cellular cosmogony, and Morrow told the reporter that nothing can now impede the progress of the Korean system. It is invincible. Despite being invincible, no one cared, and no one took them seriously. Teed said the startling information flashed from city to city, continent to continent, reverberating around the world. But a quick search of archives like newspapers.com shows that's not true. The startling information only seemed to flash around inside the Koreans' concave enclave. And then the whole Teed thing started to fall apart. Toward the end, it was lawsuits, infighting, and perpetual battle with nearby residents and local politicians, all culminating in a horrible street brawl involving correct.
Okay, I'm going to put dogs in a bag. So realistically, yeah. Hey guys. Yes?
Introducing your champion.
I'm the jump master. No straying, no.
Be proud, mate. I'm a big bloody deal.
Trust me, we want to land over here.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So where we landed?
Fort Myers. When T tried to break it up, the town marshal beat
I guess we're going there, buddy.
No, he was worried because he was immortal, but he was unable to fully recover from the beating and he died.
I want to see you do something fancy.
Resurrected. The Koreshan Unity kept going for years after T's death, and prominent people like Thomas Edison and Henry Ford visited. But the community was leaderless and rudderless. Slowly began to disperse and die out. Its last member was a German woman named Hedwig Mitchell, arrived in 1940 to escape Nazi persecution. She died in 1981. The land and its remaining buildings now comprise Florida's Koreshan State Park. Hollow Earthers still exist. Mustafa Abdelkader of Egypt published papers advocating its truth into the early 1980s, and there's still a shocking amount of mystery regarding what's inside. The deepest we've dug is the Kola Super Deep borehole, which goes less than 8 miles down. That only leaves another 3,951 miles for epic tales of science fiction. We know that Teed and the Hollow Earthers are wrong. We know the Earth is a sphere and that we exist on its convex surface, and we now have pictures from space to prove it. We know why ships disappear over the horizon, and we know why train tracks appear to get increasingly close together the further away they run. But in a way, Cyrus Teed may have been more right than he even knew. Ever-expanding, limitless nothingness is unsettling. Chaos on an incredible scale, all beyond our control or even beyond our ability to understand, is ominous. It becomes increasingly impossible to know where you are, to know who you are. We all start inside the womb. It's our smallest hollow Earth. Then our world gets bigger, slowly, as we experience more of it and its people. We push those boundaries, we push against that golden line so that we're just comfortably uncomfortable as it expands, because anything beyond that pace can be too much to bear. We like the Italian restaurant in town, and the neighbor's overly friendly cat, and sports games that operate on carefully designed fields with a strict rule book, all within 60 or 90-minute bounds, because all of those things are a tiny bit of order in a chaotic, perpetually dilating world. And when we finally realize who we are, what we think, and what we feel, we start to exist in an entire universe of our own, contained within a hollow spheroid. The Earth's surface is not concave, and we don't live inside a giant hollow ball. We tell ourselves that we're always in pursuit of infinite, that we need to explore other people, other places, other planets. But maybe we always need to feel like we live inside something. And as always, thanks for watching. Today we've got something interesting. Espresso sponsored this video so we can take a look at
This
the
is
new
not the way to
Espresso
go.
17 Pro. And this thing supposedly does it all. It's portable, it's a touchscreen, and most importantly to me, it's 4K at just 17.3 inches, meaning you're going to get a whopping 259 ppi. Absolutely wild pixel density. Inspired by creatives. Fine-tuned for professionals.
Just adding a petite touch of baguette here.
is this?
Don't hang up on me. Okay.
There was an awesome public access show in the 1990s called Raw Time, where the host would insult the intelligence of her callers and hang up on Memphis Girl. Great.
You hung up on me earlier, and I was wondering.
You know what? It might not be me hanging up, because Dave has the power to hang up on people as well.
Oh, well, what kind of music do you like?
I like lots of music. I like how they
What are you doing?
the kind of music that's coming up later in the show, like Guard, like the Negative, and
What the fuck was that?
Oh, like, what biscuit and corn. You should.
Raw time? I like the kind of that's coming up later in the show, like Guard,
Happy belated
like the
birthday.
Negative, and came at the end. What kind of music?
She's got goth girl music taste. Typo negative.
What do you like?
Oh, I like, what biscuit and corn. You should.
Raw time? Raw time? You trashy bitch. Raw time? You trashy bitch. That's me.
That's me. Yo, that was a grim look into the future of what it would be like to stream. A 12-year-old child you're a trashy bitch and just owning it.
Raw time?
Great.
You trashy
Scrappy
bitch.
on
That's me.
That's me.
Raw time? All good with
Damn, what kind of skin is that?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what do you think of the video?
Pretty tight. Well, what's up with you?
That shit looks
Not much.
It's level 250.
I gotta run back that boy.
Pushing not much.
See, I need to have like a main. I've never had like a main. I'll always be switching. Driving in like every.
Hello?
Hi.
What are you doing there?
I'm sitting pushing buttons pretty much. What are you doing?
Watching this dumbass show?
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people.
Let's
We
land here.
can go anywhere. I usually just
Sure.
bring Lifeline
Oh, I
out.
don't know. You tell me. Should I?
No?
Okay. Well, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Because their boss
Really?
are low-key good as.
Do you like the videos?
Fuck you, stupid, ugly
The
ass.
cell
trailer
friends,
park
yeah.
Shit, bitch.
The cell friends. That shit clutched up. Yeah. The upgrades.
Bro, it's such an interesting experiment into anonymity and what it would eventually do to the human mind. She was like, oh my
They didn't
god,
say no
I'm
when
on
they
TV. I'm communicating. They're talking to me.
It's the
What
hooligan
should
by
I
me.
do? What in the... We watched that happen in real time.
We're already inside.
Fine, like
Raw time.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, Groove.
Found an
Do
extended
what?
energy
Hey,
mag.
it's Groove.
Level 1.
I can't right now. We already have set up what we're gonna play, but maybe next time.
Oh
Raw
yeah, I
time.
can take
I'd like to give a shout out to my sister Hillary,
thank you.
and also
Thank you.
fuck you.
Okay. This girl was so perfect for this time and place, too. This girl looked like the album art from
Yeah.
fucking...
Okay. Why are you so negative?
She looked like the album art for Crazy Town Butterfly, bro. Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my sugar pop.
I love this place.
There she is, perfect for that time and place. I swear to you,
It's crazy.
this type of girl just absolutely destroyed my life. As a teenager, this girl destroyed my fucking life and I was grateful.
Heavy ammo
Do you
here.
have any emotions, you dirty little bitch?
Might be something good that way.
Oh my god.
Here, this way sound good.
my god! That was so. That gave me such a heavy ick. Oh god, that gave me such ick.
I think I used to, but.
Got a care package coming in.
Raw time.
That was to the point.
What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do I like? I have a pretty large variety of music I like. Anywhere from classical. That's about it. What kind of music do you like?
Bass.
Giving my shields a recharge. I'm spotted, taking fire.
Bass.
Are you dying?
I'm cover for you, mates.
Bass.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Videos we played? No. No? That's sad. Maybe I like the ones we're about to play. Okay. Raw time.
Hey, how can you do this show when all these people are calling up cussing at you and everything?
I don't know. It gets me off though.
Yeah, we just had
Yeah, where's Tippy now?
Raw time.
Hi, we all play Scar Tissue?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe if you're lucky.
If I'm what?
Lucky?
Lucky.
Lucky.
Oh, okay. We have sex with me?
I have to think about that.
This is crazy to watch. Raw Time was such a grim harbinger for how people would behave on the internet. As soon as there was like that thin veneer of anonymity, like all of that politeness that people carried around with them, just absolutely melted into this primordial ooze of violence and horny, blathering, gross, skin crawling.
Are they gonna kill you?
It's bedlam.
Raw time.
Why don't you tell people to stop requesting stuff?
Hello? Are they gonna kill you?
Prank callers and less requests.
That's right. Preach on.
I'm gonna go back to smoking my bowl.
Alright, let's see these roll around. Yeah, good video.
Okay.
You like it in the air?
Picked up our teammate's banner.
Would you like me to get you right here or no?
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Wowie, wow, wow.
Oh.
Wow. She could have made millions as a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, what's up? Are you lucky?
Sure. Are you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. Don't ask questions.
You're back. Raw time.
I wanna kill this person.
Raw time.
Bro.
I didn't know it had me, but okay. Raw
That's
time.
crazy.
Half the squads are gone.
Watch out.
Probably went on because
Bro! She's so quick! She's so quick with it!
You're good.
you good? I've been out of
Hey, how you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Just fine. I like your show.
Good.
Thank you.
Kind of.
Oh, here it comes. He's working up his
Nice.
confidence. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Nice.
Hate it.
Is it really?
One more
Yeah,
time.
why are all the callers being successful?
I don't know. Maybe
Knock
it's
two,
because
right, or
I'm so
something?
nervous.
1:48 in the morning and they're sitting watching me on TV.
Oh.
Sorry for the feedback there. What's that in your lip?
Is this the same guy who just called?
Oh, those piercing?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What do you got,
Almost a
what do
year.
you got planned
It
out there?
goes by so
The
fast.
next ring is not
Thank
close.
you.
Good to know.
We have
Talking to models.
Kelly Willis, York, and Stretch Princess.
Alright, like York.
Replicator incoming.
Hey, gotta give a shout out to my friend Simeon. Hey, what's his name again? Come on.
Rob?
Is anybody else kind of mesmerized by this weird time capsule?
Feel you? Okay. Raw time.
I'd like to say you're looking pretty shitty tonight.
But what's new? I'm sorry. I won't let it happen again.
No, it has none.
Raw time. Hello?
Thank you for the hype train, by the way, guys. I appreciate
Alright,
it.
this guy gotta do something now.
What is this show about? It's
I'm
about
smoking a bowl.
talking to people and playing videos.
Smoking a bowl for a long time, bro.
Raw time.
Yeah, yeah.
That shit is either like burnt or like you're smoking.
Yeah, Dr. Paul is like, yeah, hey.
Wait,
Bro,
what?
how
What
long
would you like?
He's like, yeah, hey.
You said that? What? Okay. Raw time.
And that's what happens if I just fucking wait, come go. You guys suck. How many times are you gonna die?
When did I say that?
Friends
laughed in the background. Wait, what was he like?
He's like, yeah, hey.
He said that? What?
Hey.
Okay. Raw time.
Hey, when you say this is not a fucking request show, does that mean like no like requesting videos or like no requesting fucking?
When did I say that?
Dude, his friend laughed in the background. Do you hear the other guy in the room fucking laugh?
No requesting.
Listen to his friend.
When did I say?
Gooners!
I don't know.
Okay. Raw time.
Yeah, what's this show all about anyway?
About me and videos.
And what kind of videos do you play?
All kinds of videos. Dave gets to pick.
Okay, thanks.
Raw time.
Hey, how about them Spurs?
Okay.
Okay.
Raw time.
Can I stick my ramrod in your eye?
Your what?
My ramrod.
Your ramrod? I don't know. What
Yep.
see. Raw time.
Groupie bitch, you're ugly.
Raw.
Okay.
Reading right now.
We'll get a win if your heart's in the right place.
Raw time.
Hello? How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good.
I like your show. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Is this guy being a fake British? It's kind of odd.
I mean, not on me. Although that did happen once, or 9 times.
Fuck sometime. It's great, baby. Yeah.
This is your champion.
Good score means good wins
Okay,
means
we're gonna
good
go.
times.
This is great.
Hey, this is Tiffy, and you're watching Raw Time. We just took this crackhead off the street, and so he's gonna be my co-host for the rest of the night. First, we saw Ramstein with Duhawk, and it was B-Witch with, I'm not gonna try to say that, and Colin Ray with anyone else. Let's go ahead and take some.
With anyone else?
With anyone else.
La vie.
La vie. Say La vie. Okay.
The hell does that mean?
Raw Time.
How would you like a penis platter with a side of hairy nuts?
That's very special.
Bro, this is like 12-year-old dudes calling in just saying the dumbest shit possible. Alex Jones,
Get ready,
please,
moving
Alex
on.
Raw
Jones.
Time.
Oh.
Okay, can you say it one more time? I'm not touching it. Electric bones or something?
Wow. We are down to speed
The battle happens
dude,
quick.
that
Be ready.
is. I really need to open up Hey Donna to the general public and just let them go buck wild. It's Omegle? No, Omegle you can see the dicks, which makes it inherently less funny. Bring it back with Peach Stars? Dude, Raw Time with Peach Stars would go nuts.
45 seconds. Rings just up ahead.
No brakes on me?
No brakes. Oh, now she's nervous. We're getting speed.
Okay, stop. You have to learn.
I have you.
Okay,
I have you.
can you
I
break?
have you.
You can't brag back.
Yes, I can. Yes,
How
I
do we go down
can.
massive hill?
Then I'll catch you. I have you. You're good.
Oh,
We're
nice.
When are you taking Senna roller skating? But you saw the title, it says teaching the love of my life how to roller skate, and you just instantly in your mind assumed it was Senna. Senna's like my little sister that has like an attitude who needs to get punched in the head. Now I could see you could throw Maya in there, but Senna, not Senna, okay? She's a 10. Yeah, 10 pounds of idiot, okay? That's what she is. No. Is that the shirt you're gonna be wearing?
liked it?
Gotta love that shirt.
Honestly, my pajamas. I slept in this the day before yesterday. I woke up and I wore it all day yesterday, and I'm wearing it today. I'm scared, Nick. I'm gonna fall on my ass. You remember the one thing that I've said if my hips ever dislocate, Nick?
What?
You don't remember the one thing that I've asked you. If my hips dislocate, what are you supposed to do?
I'll still be with you.
No, you're supposed to knock me out.
What?
Like just knock me as hard as you can in the head.
In the temple?
Yeah, but not with this out. Flat fist. Don't tuck your thumb in, you'll break it. Put it like this.
Big days are coming for us.
And hit with those two. Not with these two. You can just get your own hit. Okay? Is there brakes on these?
No brakes. Oh, now she's nervous.
So are you just gonna film me getting up?
I believe in you.
You made the right choice this time.
You put the last snooze in before you fall? You putting in the last snooze? The last snooze.
Break it up.
Is your champion.
Come on, babe. Oh! Oh. Here, let me lock you in here. Let me lock.
Holy.
Okay.
How do I break?
What?
Let's see. I'm gonna fall.
You How we doing?
Let's move forward. Oh no. Oh, I'm dead. Nah.
She locked. Oh, ouch.
Okay, do I stand forward like this?
Yeah.
You're
doing it. You're doing it. I'm not gonna lie. You came out here looking like an OTK thug.
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. Ready?
Imagine choosing this over going bike riding. This was your choice.
Holy fuck. Go backwards.
I am going backwards.
Okay, faster.
Much
Can
as
we
we
do
want to
pretend
say.
fall?
A pretend fall.
I have to practice, because I know I'm gonna.
Alright, we'll fall into the grass.
Yeah, what if there's heroin? Help.
Where there's heroin in the grass?
Shots. What's it called? Spray. I got the spray right now. What's it called? What is it called?
Needles.
Yeah.
There's someone behind you. You gotta get out the way.
I can't.
Oh no. Oh no. Alright, stay here. Doggy's coming.
First blood.
Alright.
Should have seen that.
Let's go. Let's try and go that way. Someone said there's no need for a helmet. Her brain's already cooked.
My head's hollow. There's a lot of space in here. Listen. Nick, I'm getting tired. How do I stand up and down? Where do you put your weight in this case?
I put it on the balls of my foot.
Heel? Oh no.
I said the balls, which is not the heel. It's like the other one.
Front?
Yeah. Alright, you got this. Come on. Come on, babe.
Okay, cool. Alright, sing me a song. Help. Why are you being so weird? What's wrong? You're making me anxious.
Here you go.
Okay, go. You haven't even gone to the park yet.
We're back at the car.
I can't.
You'd say what can make me feel this way, my girl.
That can't be it. Babe,
Talking
babe.
about
That's it?
my girl.
Alright guys, so there's the Escalade. And this is how far we've gotten. This might be 9 feet. You want me to show you how to do it? I'm proud of you, by the way. Come out of your comfort zone.
This is so hard out of my comfort zone.
I will show you kind of how to do this. Look, this is how you do it. Alright? You just skate, Melina. Alright?
Just skate. Just gotta get on. Go with it. Go with it.
See? Super easy. These are the worst skates ever.
Hola,
Oh.
So the way you skate is you gotta bend your knees a little bit. There we go. Yep.
Okay.
And now imagine your feet are like blades.
Okay, go backward. Let me try.
Yeah, that's it. That's the movement. It's like it's kind of like it's not like
Why
you're
am I bending my ankles?
because you're a bender. But listen, it's okay.
I'm gonna myself so hard.
No, you're doing it. Yeah, see, yeah. It's not backwards. It's like this way, like this.
Oh, ow! Like
Yes.
Oh, my legs doesn't go that way.
Yes, they do. I've seen you do it many times.
Okay, go.
You're doing it. You're literally pushing me now. You're doing it perfectly. Oh, we're getting speed.
Okay, stop. You have to learn.
I have you.
Okay,
I have you.
can you
I
break?
have you.
You can't break back.
Yes, I can. Yes,
What if
I
we
can.
get on massive hill?
Then I'll catch you. I have you. You're good.
Oh,
we're
no,
getting speed. No, you got. I trust you. I trust you. Do not go in the grass. Oh,
Nah, I do not trust you.
babe, I don't want to be that guy. I think he went 7 miles an hour.
That's impressive. I think it's 7 miles on skates.
Yeah, an hour. There you go, Melina. You're a Viking and you're invading.
Let's try to go up.
Alright, you got this, babe. There you go, remember? You got it. Yep. Yep, there you go.
I'm cramping. Oh, she caught.
Babe, there's no way you're giving up already. That's it?
I'm trying to go uphill.
That's all you
I
got?
have the confidence.
Because the confidence music was a lie. Come on. There she comes. There she goes. Oh, there she goes. Oh, she's going backwards. Yep, see? Make a V shape. Yep, that's perfect. You got it. Man, you look like a huge bender with those white socks and those black pants. Holy crap.
On. I just want to go with my distress, dude.
You got it.
Dude, why did you take me away from YouTube, man? I was doing so well.
Bro, you quit. You retired Chance's voice. Shut up. You know that. Alright, I got you. I got you from behind. I got you from behind.
Don't push me.
Trust me.
No, my legs are cramping. Ow.
How are you cramping?
Because I'm playing.
Are you that out of shape? Ow! You're sitting in water.
My legs are cramping.
No way. She's done already.
I'm cramping on the outside of my feet.
You see those birds, shit?
Please, I don't want to do it anymore.
Just keep going straight. Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
Please, like a girl at night when you're cramping. My legs are cramping.
Okay, let's go sit down. Can you make it to that bench over there? Okay, I'm pushing you.
Okay, I'm trying to put the weight somewhere else so I don't.
Oh no.
Okay, gas.
Bro,
Gas.
can I push your ass instead of your hands?
No, I have to hold you. Gas.
It's just, my arm is getting tired. Stop, let go. Stop. Oh, she's gonna pop a squat. Oh, here she goes. Look, you just go like this, and you just move, you know? It's super easy. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah, let's get to an open area where you can show us skill.
Melina is so funny, chat, isn't she? Like, her whole existence is just hilarious. You know what? I bet you Nora could skate. Maybe I can take her here next time, you know? Something like that. Look at her over there. You see there? All black head, like, it's like 70 degrees out, and she decided to come to the park in a black hoodie and black sweatpants. That's the woman I fell in love with. It's the future mother of my children. Oh, how could she hear? Well, you're actually cramping? Oh no. Let me help you.
Not like.
Okay, so what's your plan to fix this?
We're at McDonald's.
Shut up. I can't. How are we gonna get there?
Yeah, don't look.
Don't look.
Tie my skates together and like a.
Melina used my skates, then took them off, and then left. Is that really what happened? So look at someone in chat says, Black Diesel, I'm sorry for blaming you, dog. You have to deal with a lot. See, the problem is every time you guys see the stream, it's in Melina's domain, the kitchen. That's where she thrives. She has, you know, racial passives, right, to be able to be in the kitchen. I don't. But now you come to like my forte. Oh, suddenly Nick really isn't that big. Now is he? You know what I'm saying?
Heavy ammo here.
What?
I can keep up with you.
She went out there and got a lime scooter, bruh.
Gang.
No way. Alright, there she goes. Look at her. And she's gone. Just gone, dude. Look at her. She just left me.
Got an evac tower here.
Don't worry, XQC will be live soon. It's okay. Okay. That's you in 5 years?
Boy.
Okay. Look at her. We gotta keep up.
Optics here. Mid-range.
A really good day. Man, you just hit me. Look, they're filming a commercial. Ooh, look at the big cameras. Oh! Look. Big cameras, they're filming. Oh! Oh god, we're going downhill. I have no way to stop. I have no way to stop. We are going down fast. Yeah, you can scoot and I can skate. So I can get even more healthy.
You want to get to the water for you?
Yeah, and some ice cream for us.
Okay, what ice cream do you want?
Vanilla? Chat, is this a life that you guys want to live? Being Austin, Texas, downtown resident? You know? Just hanging out with all the healthy, true food. Kitchen. Oh, that was a bug. The bee just touched me in the hand. You know? Trader Joe's. Custom ice cream sandwiches. Oh, I want an ice cream sandwich. I'm gonna ask for one. Actually, I want an ice cream sandwich. Oh, I want an ice cream sandwich. I want an ice cream sandwich. I want an ice cream sandwich. Paid? Can I get an ice cream? Can I get a cookie instead of an ice cream? Thank you, babe. Yes. Oh, I'm about to come. I'm about to enjoy this. Let me tell you guys.
Heated chocolate chip. It's like a mini Pacific.
No way. Oh my god. What'd you get?
Nothing.
Now I feel fat now.
You didn't. You've been fasting. You're gonna have to
I feel fat.
stop.
Stop eating.
Stop.
Guys, by the way, Melina, the snoozing is getting out of control. When I'm in the shower in the morning trying to jerk off, your snooze packets are in there.
Yeah, because I didn't bring the box.
Can you stop?
No.
Like, it's just gross.
I will try to not leave. I don't try to not leave them where you jerked off. I find.
Well, that's most places in the house.
I'm genuinely sorry for like ruining the skating thing, but I'm so scared of dislocating my hips because once it's done, it's over, and I don't want to get it TRH before I'm like 40.
Okay. Yeah. Babe, can we go?
I rejected probably around 300 I know, because there are people who are just like not fed up Gamba, you know?
Attention, deliver replicator. Got a replicator coming down.
So, one thing that I have noticed has been discussed a lot recently is what the IPC increase for Zen 5 will be. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that last year I leaked a roadmap that directly suggested that while AMD was hoping to achieve a higher than 15% IPC increase, at the time back then they were only confident in obtaining a 10 to 15% uplift over Zen 4 as the minimum. However, in that same video, I said that it's worth noting that in almost every instance in the past 5 years, AMD has managed to get a higher uplift in the final product than their internal Zen presentations presented in the run-up to the launch. Now, this is for a couple of reasons. The first being that I do honestly believe that AMD intentionally sandbagged their numbers to throw the competition off before they officially unveil a product. Well, being honest enough to their partners to give them some reasonably close expectations for what performance will be like when it does finally launch, because, well, their partners do need to know ahead of time so that they can plan for a launch. For example, when AMD started talking about Zen 4 in some detail, they said that it would gain an around 8% IPC uplift over Zen 3. What AMD was telegraphing to their partners with that specific number, 8%, is that it would be a higher uplift
Behind us,
but not as high of an IPC uplift as Zen 2. And then, when they were ready, they eventually communicated 13%. And yeah, 13% is notably higher than 8%. But to an OEM, it's not that big of a difference. It doesn't really affect you to plan how you're going to market a product. It's just a pleasant surprise. However, there is a second reason AMD is always conservative in their early Zen presentations before they launch, besides sandbagging. The other reason is actually a bit more jiggly. You see, AMD also goes from this to this because they aren't sure until around when the products are being manufactured exactly, underline that word, exactly what they will be able to claim. Also underline that word, claim. Because I do need to emphasize that. You see, contrary to what a lot of armchair experts think, IPC isn't really a science. it's a claim you can heavily manipulate to look better or worse, depending on what apps you bench or even what clock speeds you decide to benchmark these apps for your comparison between architectures. You see here on screen, AMD clocked both Zen 3 and Zen 4 at 4 GHz, and the results could have been notably different at 3 GHz, but I would suggest that AMD probably chose 4 GHz because that's where Zen 4 got a more preferable upload. And then all these apps, I mean, why are they using Deus Ex Mankind Divided? This game was 6 years old when Zen 4 launched. The answer is that it made Zen 4 look good, but they had to include Cinebench, for example, even though it wasn't one of their good uplifts, because that is something that everybody uses in benchmarks, and it would have looked really shady if they wouldn't have included an app that's that popular in reviews. And so, while there really is an art to this, it is an art, not a science. If AMD chose to just use like Dolphin Bench, Deus Ex, and Watch Dogs, and then clock their CPUs in the comparison at some weirdly specific clock speed like 4.22 GHz, this would have called shenanigans. But if a round number, like 3, 4, or 5 GHz for the clock speed, and at least a dozen apps, including some of the most popular ones, not all of them, but some of the most popular ones, then it's not really lying or cherry picking per se, but it is definitely something you can goose, like I've just explained, and I do expect AMD to do so with Zen 5, so they don't think they're behind Intel very much or at all in IPC this year when Intel announces what Arrow Lakes claims IPC is. But at the end of the day, the IPC range that I leaked over half a year ago for Zen 5, I'm about to stand by that range today because I've had a few additional sources that I reached out to that I didn't consult last year, and some newer ones that reached out to me that have provided me with further proof, including pictures of the Zen 5 architecture that back up what I've been saying this whole time, and I want to show you that. But first, my dog Jessie is occasionally very helpful, especially when it comes to policing my girlfriend. Again, if I'm being entirely honest, she spends most of the day doing absolutely nothing that helps anybody. That's really the same as your PC. Yeah, you might love using it to play games or render or model things, but all that horsepower, most of the time, it's probably not being used to do anything, just like my pet. And well, that can change today if you just use the Salad app. This piece of content is brought to you by the Salad app, which is a free PC app that gives your computer half the power or your home bandwidth to work earning rewards like Discord Nitro, PayPal gift cards, Visa prepaid debit cards, and games and more. That's right, whether you have untapped bandwidth at your house, being an internet connection that doesn't always need to be utilized 100% to stream Netflix, or you have a PC that ideally has an RTX 3060 or better, you can get rewarded for simply sharing your computing power or your bandwidth with the rest of the world while you're not using it. So when you're not using your PC or your internet connection to game or stream Netflix, start up the Salad app, become a Salad Chef, and cook up some rewards, and also pick up some support for this channel. Seriously, it's entirely free to click that link in the description and download the app. And if you do so, you can just use your gaming PC to earn rewards while you're not gaming, or your modeling, rendering PC. Any powerful hardware you have, including its internet connection, can be made useful. And again, if you go and click on that link in the description and download Salad, it helps the channel so much. So support yourself earning some rewards on the side, and support this channel by downloading the Salad app through the link in the description today. Alright, so like I said in the first part of this video, I've been provided with more information on Zen 5, including this slide on
Move that edge down there, don't go down.
Like I've been saying for a long time now, points to Zen 5 being a floating point in 3x 512 monster. But outside of that, I don't have that much more to say about this new slide on the screen here. The slide that I'm actually told is incredibly widely distributed at this point among people outside of the therefore not at all.
No, you got me killed for doing that too. God damn it.
No, what I want you to focus on more so when it comes to talking about what sources have been saying about AMD's IPC uplift with Zen 5 over Zen 4 that I exclusively leaked last year. I do say exclusively leaked last year because so far, at least most of the IPC claims out there I've been seeing from other people look incredibly incorrect to me. And it reminds me of when I was the only person to double down in January that Zen 5 will be launching in the second half of this year. And then a bunch of people called me stupid, and then in that same week, AMD confirmed I actually was correct. And then after all the temper tantrums from the wrong people ended, well, the dust settled, and I think it's time to settle the dust on Zen 5's IPC, at least roughly what you should expect, because there are some wildly incorrect claims out there right now. So I want to put this on screen here, and yeah, the first source says that currently they mean AMD, are telling partners to expect Zen 5 to achieve an IPC increase of around 17%, but that also the chosen IPC claim depends on what marketing thinks they can get away with. And oh, they also wanted to note to me that the average IPC uplift will not be close to 40%, and they cannot believe they have to say that, and usually remind me of things like this every generation in the lead up to a launch where the silliest leaks get thrown around. Now, a second source here told me that in a recent presentation from AMD, they were told to expect an IPC increase for Zen 5 that's in the teens or low to mid 20s, but that the FP workloads will often be much higher. And this person said that they're not sure, but it seems like AMD has quite a bit of wiggle room this time around, and that they have an honest impression that they'll try to fluff the marketed IPC enough to look close to what Intel announces for Lion Cove and Arrow Lake. Oh, and this person was also told that both client and server Zen 5 are targeting Q3 2024 for launch. Now, a third source here really opened up to me and said the original low-ball goal for Zen 5's IPC uplift was 20%. Low-ball meaning that they thought it would be easy to at least hit that, and they were hoping for much higher if they put in the work. But it wasn't that easy. They ran into power issues. The shift to 4 nanometer from 3 nanometer for the standard variant hurt clock speeds more than they expected, and at one point, they were concerned it might only get efficiency and IPC increases in the low double digits. And I want to be clear about this. When I say it hurt clock speeds more than they expected, I'm not saying you should be worried like Zen 5 is going to have sub 5 gigahertz clock speeds or something. I heard wild expectations, like they were hoping for like 6.5 or 7 gigahertz, and yeah, they don't think they're going to get even remotely close to that, but it should still be decent clock speeds. In fact, this person said that they had so many issues, they briefly considered downgrading Strix to have Zen 4 with RDNA 3.5 to ensure that APU launched on time, and possibly part of the reason Zen 5 Strix is launching in the second half of this year is because of Zen 5 issues. But here's the thing. Recently, this person has heard that Zen 5 has some decent optimism behind it. Finally, however, this person hasn't been on the project for months, so they're not able to say exactly how well it will turn out, but they are fairly confident in what I have been saying for a while now, that it will achieve a 14 to 26% IPC uplift, that you'll get modest clock speed increases in some SKUs, but don't expect to be an across-the-board large uplift, and that we are safe to assume it is going to be decently efficient, which I am loving hearing all of this, especially as I was hearing some fairly pessimistic things a few months ago. Not hugely pessimistic things. I always expected Zen 5 to be another decent uplift and to be something that preempts the launch of Arrow Lake and has a few tricks up its sleeve that gives it massive performance increases in specific apps. But I have to admit, in January, when I was ready to double down that it was being delayed due to issues, I was a bit concerned that this thing might not be that much more exciting than Zen 4. No, I think it will be. This is going to be a very exciting architecture, and one that from the sounds of it will easily be ready to launch in Q3, which is also awesome to hear. And you know, if anybody's disappointed about what I'm leaking today, it's just because you bought into the usual clickbaiters and overhypers that it feels like I have to dispel every generation. And I want to be clear about those people too. The people at AMD are exhausted by them. It feels like no matter what they announce, some people are always disappointed because they are expecting an unrealistic number. So just know that if you're following the people overhyping things every generation, those people are hurting AMD. But, you know, here's the thing that's also exciting moving forward is that I do consistently hear that Zen 6 is having more effort put into it than was initially planned. And, well, that costs AMD some money to make up for some of the pitfalls that they've run into with Zen 5. That also means that they're probably going to make up for those pitfalls. So if Zen 5 ends up 5 to 10% weaker than AMD was hoping for, it sounds like Zen 6 might be 5 to 10% stronger. And so either way, at the end of 2025 or maybe the first half of 2026, AMD's performance targets are going to be probably right where they were supposed to be by the time they're out, which is awesome. And so then the final question becomes, is Intel Arrow Lake doomed? And, well, I gotta say that I do stand by my opinion that I put out there recently that Intel really does have an opening here. They managed to finally pull off a competent launch with a product, Arrow Lake, that finally stops making the mistakes Intel has typically or almost entirely consistently been making with every prior release for the past 5 years. You see, the fact that I'm hearing things like fluff the marketed IPC from people at AMD tells me that AMD is legitimately concerned that Intel will have a faster big core in Arrow Lake than what Zen 5 will have this year, and so that may actually be a very real performance advantage for Team Blue. But at the same time, the fact that AMD thinks they can use their numbers to look close to Arrow Lake tells me that any single-threading performance lead Arrow Lake has over Zen 5 is unlikely to be a difference that's as massive as like the difference between Golden Cove and Zen 3, which could easily be 10 or 20% higher. It doesn't seem like you're going to get that type of a blowout in single-thread performance with Arrow Lake over Zen 5. And so, yeah, look, Intel may have a lead at the end of this year with Arrow Lake, but it's unlikely to be crazy huge, and AMD will still likely win in some departments. I don't think Arrow Lake is going to have a clean kill, therefore, on performance with Zen 5. And so, Intel has an opening, but they will only win, in my opinion, if everything else is fixed, like I suggested in a recent video. This includes, number one, ensuring that their LGA 1851 platform ships early to avoid expensive day one markups like we often see when launching a new platform. Intel cannot afford to do that. AMD will have well-established and marked down AM5 offerings on the market. And number two, Intel also needs to announce that they're going to support LGA 1851 for at least 3 generations. Otherwise, people will look at Arrow Lake, look at Zen 5 and go, they're not that different in performance, and you know what? AMD is going to let me upgrade to at least Zen 6 or maybe even Zen 7, so why would I get Arrow Lake and be on a dead platform? And then, number 3, they also need to not push the power consumption dial too hard this time around. After all, if Arrow Lake is only going to win in performance by an okay amount, if win at all, it won't matter if someone needs to buy a fucking refrigerator to cool this thing. Intel cannot keep doing this, especially because they will launch Arrow Lake after Zen 5, and they're using TSMC 3 nanometer, not TSMC 4 nanometer like AMD is, and so it's going to be more expensive to produce Arrow Lake.
No shit.